to Lyon. Nous sommes de retour à Lyon. Lyon, est-ce que vous êtes chaud? Eh, ça va, c'est bien. On va se créer des souvenirs tous ensemble ce week-end. J'ai envie de tester un peu là. Vainqueur de ce trophée, la game 2 va démarrer. Guys, to back to the analyst desk.
Let's go, Benji! Let's go, Benji! That's what I like to see, baby. Man, we are back and we're getting ready any moment now. We're gonna get word, we're gonna jump back into the action. I did appreciate one thing though. Obviously, we hate to see tech issues, but they happen, right? This is a live event, things happen. But we kind of had a moment now, players kind of taking a moment, stepping away. We have a chance to like talk with someone. What I like to really see is all of them are in high spirits, right? Kanata walks up, he's like, Zeke, what did I tell you? I'm like, bro, let's go. That's the kind of hype I want to see. But everyone's in high spirits. Everyone's saying the kind of same thing. Hey, look, it's just game one. Don't worry about it, Zeke. Stop panicking. Zeke, why are you crying?
Listen, I just hope that it doesn't cool anybody down, right? You want to kind of keep that momentum going for any of the teams that are kind of doing good. We'll have to see if it actually ends up impacting anybody. But hey, maybe some other teams kind of finding this beneficial, right? A little bit of a break. Maybe they went down early, kind of a little bit of a reset. But yeah, I mean, hey, listen, pauses like this, not what you want to see, but hey, sometimes rolling with the punches is what makes the best of the competitive players.
Look, you got some time to reset. Just treat this as game one. This is game one. This is the new game one. You know, game one just happened. This is the new game one.
That's right. You know what? I'm getting word. It is time once again. We are ready to jump back aboard that battle bus. Game number 2 starts right now.
And just like that, we're back. Game number 2 underway. And Jacob, after that performance from Kanata, Rapid, and Bolt, a standard has definitely been set.
Yeah, it was 9 eliminations. And the interesting thing out of them all, they're not even the team in first place. It's the Rangers Ruin off-spawn winners from game number 1, Tayson, Chicho, and Haris. And honestly, it's not going to be that easy all day long between these two teams. And honestly, I wouldn't wish it any other way. And we're going to go at it yet again, straight off the spawn. A little bit of 50-50 action going down between Pablo and Haris. Right now, it does look like Pablo might have got the first one. Prodox is able to get the second. That's a Sentinel Puff and immediately put it to use. Gets the drop on Haris. They're going for revenge here. And so far, 2 knocks, 2 eliminations. They just need one more as Pablo cleans that one up. That is all 3 down and out.
And now it's time to see what type of conversion we're going to be looking at with Verdoxi's team, because in the last lobby, after Tayson, Chicho, and Atris conquered that off-spawn battle, they were still able to find such a steady placement, steady eliminations. But again, they're not the only teams going head-to-head. Veno, Pico, and I'm seeing that eliminated Felixi along the way here at Canyon Crossing. Coyota's team still posing a massive threat.
I know we had a translator.
Hello everybody, thank you guys for being here. I figured we'd rest up, watch a little FNCS together, and see where the day takes us.
Is what he was trying to tell the world, but this is how it all started off. Biko was able to get the first drop onto Yuma. That opened things up, but unfortunately, that's just the way off spawns go. His teammate got taken down. They go 2 for 2, and now they got to make that conscientious decision. Do you fight or do you split Canyons Crossing and try to get the reboots later?
Something a little bit more devious, though, possibly taking place here with Clix and Yamzo. Pigs, Alwig Suit, Supernova Academy might just be claimed by these three, but Jacob, we saw so many teams. We didn't see that many surge bases in the first lobby. Almost have to wonder how many of these teams have been counter-stratting some of those surge partners and trying to take matters into their own hands.
Only on Twitch. If you go to Fortnite on Twitch, if you watch for 1 hour, you get a spray.
Have company to clear out. Rajito and Tete directly underneath Victor V, but that game one momentum swing could be all Victor V needs.
But wait a minute. I know everybody at home thinking the same thing. Where is that third team? But back on over to this side of the map. Venno finally able to get the drop onto Yuma yet again. So it was Coyote, it was Rise that went for that revive. They did find success, but the down is there yet again. But he gets dropped right back into their box. So Venno, Vico, their job is not done just yet. They still have to figure out where and when they're going to get these eliminations and how they're going to get Flixie back into the game, because the reboot ban, Taco, is down there.
Still a massive advantage, though, for Vico and Venno having the high ground hold. Hamad, Kira, and FKS. Peterbot, Ritual, Cold. They might just have to go head-to-head, but Cold, Peterbot, Ritual, they're taking more of a scenic route here, Jacob. They don't seem like they're going to stick to the same strategy through each of these lobbies. Everybody has to be on red alert. Even though it didn't pan out in their favor for game one, you can never count Peterbot out.
Yep, it looks like for game number 2, they had some time to talk about it, but they went ahead and spin that wheel. They said, where do you want to go next? And it looks like could be possibly over towards Foxy Floodgates. We don't know the exact drop, but we know where they have their focus at. We tune on Kanala, Rapid, and Bolts, our Game 1 Victory Royale winners. 9 eliminations, really setting the tone and the pace. And I was talking to you, Taco, during Game 1, saying this is a different vibe from Kanata, this major. This is a whole different feel during the Global Championship, and it's already showing up in Game 1.
Touch on that a little bit later on. Right now, we've got Prodoxy, Pablo, Wingo, Gino. They found Yuma. They're looking to finish what Venno and Vico had started. Originally, Gino definitely getting the better end of that trade. Rise already down and out for the count. Gino nearly falling, but a back-to-back knocks, double eliminations. And Gino holding strong here. Prodoxy gonna find the final piece of the puzzle, and that's gonna be a clean sweep at Canyon Crossing.
And this is exactly what you need for Chino, Pablo, and Prodoxy. It's almost impossible to guarantee you're gonna win 12 out of 12. They already lost game 1. So when you do win that off-spawn fight, you have to make each and every single one of those games count, and they're already making it sure that they get those eliminations, and they even take down some of the top teams in their path. We'll switch on over to Hive. Kind of business as usual as Merstache gets the down on the Goofy from across the map. But there's too much space, there's too much distance, and you look at their loadout, they don't have a ton of crash pads, they don't have a lot of Flowberry Fizz that they're using together, so they're not going to be able to easily rotate on over to get the elimination.
Also an issue with Swizzy having just been freshly knocked. That's going to mean that Merstache is now on revive responsibility, and then immediately straight back to trying to acquire additional surge from across the way. Oceana, though, definitely...
Who y'all got for winning this? Who do you think's going to win? Who you guys think's going to win the FNCS Championship trophy this year? You think Peterbot's going to take it? You think he's going to take it this year?
But Victor V's got 2 eliminations, and they're able to take care of this reboot no problem, but still bound to draw some additional attention.
Yeah, and kind of rightfully so. These guys are just playing out of their minds. Victor V deserves the biggest stage and the biggest round of applause. Honestly, I don't know where Pops is at in this building, but he has to be a part of this loud crowd. And there's the second elimination on the Razzo, and they're making sure they know it. Look, it doesn't matter, M8 or not, they're cheering for this young individual.
Can't help but think part of the success that some of these teams are trying to claim, it does start with finding those early eliminations, even a knock, anything to kind of boost your confidence. But Art, someone who was definitely swinging throughout that first lobby, still, this is a difficult situation to tackle here. Kadu, Pisco, and Striker just continue trying to berate into these walls. They're not going to be able to break through the box just yet, but Southco from overhead, along alongside Arc. They're looking to try and make a separate angle approach. They've actually got Striker's trio a little bit trapped. And despite things looking slightly grim here for Arc and Salco, they've delayed it.
And this is only game 2, guys. So we got four more games after this.
They have control of a lot of the pieces, so it's kind of going into enemy territory for Tisco, Kadu, and Striker. They have to be careful.
Yo, Clicks gets it. I don't know, dude. I got a couple in here. I like Fredoxy. Fredoxy's pretty good. I like him. Of course, Pete is definitely a front runner for the championship. Clicks is another one. It's really rough, bro. Vico and Veno, Flixie, they're still a good one. You got Malibuca out there, Mustache. I mean, there's a lot of great ones out there right now, and this is global, so this is the best of the best from every region. Okay, this is like the Super Bowl of Fortnite that we're watching right now.
This is just an easy final piece if we want to take it, but it's not something they have to force.
Yeah, you got to really be careful here, too, if you're Arc and Salco, because that team's just floating around. They don't necessarily know Arc and Salco are there, so they just have to be patient as can be and kind of hope they have enough Storm Surge to last these next couple of zones. Because they're not a team that'll build those towers. Arcspo and Salco is one that just kind of fight for their surge all across the western side of the map. Buwaks being Malibuca, they have that one elimination so far, uncontested at Outpost. But very, very similar to that last game, this zone is pulling all the way towards the north, so a lot of these teams have to think rather quickly.
But this is a very dangerous position that Ping has taken up. He's being fully collapsed on by the Middle East. Halad gonna find that initial knock onto Ping. Malibuca gonna be forced to try and possibly pull back from this position. FKS, Hero, and Halad just fully intervening with what they were scheming by the Outpost Enclave. They're trying to get some surge across the way from Panzer and Yapto, but that option has just been reduced to nothing.
It's all about kind of waiting to see if it's worth it. They know at least two teams are fighting, but they may not know how many are still alive over on this side of the map.
Up to 5 likes on today's stream so far. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. And let me know how you like that live IRL stream earlier. I know I got cut out in and out a couple of times because of dead zones as I was traveling around. But how'd you guys like that IRL stream that I did earlier?
Honestly, this is like redemption. They said we went down early in game 1. We didn't get any points. If we have any shot of getting a top 10 in this tournament, we have to pick up the pace, and that they shall do.
This is so reminiscent of how they handled their Major 3 performance in EU. They were scrappy, they were aggressive, and they were successful for it. And right now, when you're staring at a team, oh, hold that thought though, Chino, taken out of the sky. That's the dangers involved with this Flowberry Fizz, and the crash pad still has Pablo and Fredoxy to immediately back him up with that double revive, but there's definitely trouble in the horizon. Teams immediately trying to key them, seeing that that knock was successful.
Yeah, just kind of an opportune moment. They just chop out the... I feel like I've seen this more and more and more. They just take that opportunity, catching them slipping, maybe even asleep, and they just end that fight rather quickly. But it was Agers, Acorn, and Pollo that actually did get that knock. It does look like they were trying to rotate in that direction.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Get the revive. No worries there. Malibuca walks. No ping still in sight. There's so many teams here on the southern portion of the map, including Hero, Halad, and FKS. And Alex's team even beginning to rotate over along with Anon and Resigns. This southern portion of the map is looking rather busy.
Oshi has just decided, hey, we are so far south, but we need to get Surge somehow. So for them to push forward, they might have taken notice of what was taking place inside of that elimination feed. Slightly different tempo, though, for Marius, Vanya, and Pixie. Just content to farm things out a little bit at OXR headquarters. Spot King off in his own Surge base. Decent ways away, though. So all this plethora of heals and loot and easy rotations, but surprisingly enough, Arc might have just been able to clutch up big time for himself and Salco.
Yeah, I feel like that's almost an understatement. They tried to get the reboot back onto Skull. He went down again. It's almost no loss because they were able to pick up a huge elimination as Malabuka getting a knock onto Nam. But we're going to jump on board Cooper, Reed, and Curly. They were the ones kind of admitting, hey, for us to get Storm Surge, for us to get that damage, it's going to be a challenge. But now you can see what's landing right next to him. A huge drop, a huge upgrade. And that's something a team like this feeling confident once they get it.
Chalka and Ark still trying to fight things out here. Big knock onto Uppo, but Focus from overhead. He's going to bring down Salco. It's all down to Focus versus Ark. Focus definitely having the HP advantage currently, but he's going to go for the full finish here onto Salco. That Siphon immediately extending his leverage here. Ark scrambling underneath him, trying to see if he can replenish just a little bit of his shields to boot. But Ark, he's got to make a decision. He's got to make it quick. He's trying to see if he can get this right angle peek. Instead, stuck underneath these pre-existing builds. Focus going to create a little bit of space here. Focus off the right finish, trying to get the overhead approach. And Ark, he's still looking to take this fight. He's not backing down. You have to respect the guts to go for it. And Focus still struggling to clean things up. Ark might just be able to turn it, but Ark, he doesn't have a lot of HP. He has to reload. He's not going to be able to win it. He had the opportunity, Jacob, if he just had one more shot.
Very, very unfortunate circumstances for Ark. He ran out of white heals, no bandages, no med kits, those slurp juices. He had to be aggressive, but that played.
I got some good news.
His hands, and he capitalized on it perfectly. Even though they're out of zone, Taco, I expect their full trio to be back into this game rather shortly. The fourth zone still relatively.
I got some good news. My package came in.
FKS and Hero.
For my car phone holder mount. It finally came in, so we'll do an unboxing and I'll show it to you when we go into the next game.
We knew it was going to be difficult though for Malabuka's team to have a recovery point. They got so locked down at Outpost and Clay, but this is wicked work by Pablo, Chino, and Ferdoxy, just slowly making the Ferdoxy crouch approach. He's been notorious for this method over the course of this past year, and now currently it could be the surprise that Peterbot does not want to have to deal with, or Golden Ritual. But Pablo, Chino, Ferdoxy, the patience, the discipline, they know exactly when they want to strike. They could possibly even be looking to try and tackle a couple other teams nearby.
Yeah, just kind of double options, wait for zone. But if somebody kind of gets a little bit too ahead of themselves, that could be an opportunity as Peterbot shutting down Resigns, and again, no knock. So the number one team from OCE.
Sorry about that. I accidentally hit a button.
Number two is Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual looks to ramp things up. But Pigstorm and Demas, underdog story the entire year. And this is something, I love the underdog story. And everybody, so many people were putting this team in the top 10, maybe even some inside of the top 5. Yesterday, we were watching their games. They were kind of having fun with some sky bases, but now is the time to really put it all to the test. Zone favoring their side of the map. They just had to travel up a little bit towards the north, but now they got a position ahead of everybody team towards the south. This is a good chance for them to start to accumulate surge.
Their low ground fragging potential has been what's really struck them into the spotlight from EU, but you can't help but think about the fact that even in that first lobby, I know Sven has been cooking up some strats with his Polish boys, because we saw Pigstorm and Demas attempting to maintain height at one point. Curious if they tried to do that same sort of mentality in the secondary lobby. Height was definitely a little bit scrappy last game, but King, Phaser, and OPA's in a little bit of trouble here, but they know Focus is in even more trouble.
Hello, Maxers.
They can maybe isolate that solo, keep him pinpointed, keep him away from their position. PHN is going to need a bailout soon, though.
Yeah, and this is a scary situation for the entire trio, for that matter. Finally, they find some heals, but I was just thinking 177 above the damage threshold. It is above the damage threshold, but it is not a ton. Things can change rather quickly, especially you see Merstash, you see Swizzy, Queasy on the other side of the mountain in the zone, pushing further and further towards the northeast. And this is where
I don't know. Maybe they want you to do it.
On that side of the map, Taco, there's mountain ranges, there's dips, there's dives, there's so many different things in terms of elevation.
Maybe you should show them how to do it, or tell them how to do it, or something like that. Maybe they don't know how to do it. Maybe there's a setting that they don't have. I have no idea. But thank you for coming in, Maxers. I do appreciate that.
Anybody, honestly, in this audience would have this dead side rotate is absolutely perfect. They don't have to worry about encountering any of the clusters that might be starting to build on the edge of zone. The real thing that they're going to have to be very, very cautious of is just not getting beamed from the sky.
Yeah, they're going to be rotating to a lot of teams for that matter. So that's why they're trying to use that new upgraded launch pad. You mix in the Flowberry Fizz, and you tend to kind of get out of render distance for some teams, and you kind of get a free rotation in. It all depends on who's kind of looking up at a moment. And now we're seeing a peak with Kanata, Rapid, and Bolts of what that southern side of the zone actually looks like. This is what Aegis, Acorn, and Toyo are actually rotating.
This might be Kanata's year, guys.
Rapid and Bolts, they already won game number
I'm telling. He's like one of my top picks. He really is. Kanata, of course, Pete, Cole, and Clicks and Higgs, you know, Yamzo. Those guys, those are the ones that I got for winning this. But I honestly think that Kanata has a really, really good chance of taking the FNCS Global this year.
Trying to see if he can pop off here, but it's going to be tough. They don't want to forfeit their position right now, Jacob, to try and key against Victor B, Epic, and Paper. They're just going to let them continue to tunnel through towards that side of the mountain face. Kazi and Aspect, though, stuck. Prodoxy, Pablo, Gino. They're not going to let these guys go.
Bro, they got the exotic Slapberry Fizz, they got Slurp Juices, they got Splashes. I know you start to think a little scared, like how much do they have to stay this deep in the zone? It is going to be a 2-tick, but they have more than enough and 2 potential eliminations, which will grant them Siphon, so that way they can save those heals even more. As Prodoxy's doing his lurk, patented lurk here coming out, up above. Chino's not going to need the help that he thought he did. They're going to clean up those eliminations. They have 11 eliminations. What are we witnessing?
Holy cow, Fredoxy's and his group's going off, dude. Remember what I told y'all earlier? That I think Fredoxy has a really good chance as well? They key in just like Pete and them. Watch out for Fredoxy, guys. Just keep your eyes on them. Oh, that's amazing, Haley. This, like I said, this is the best of the best players at this game in the world.
Honestly, quite shocking. We tune into Mr. Savage, Reason, no chap in sight. Getting eliminated early, but I'm a glass half full type of guy. You see them center zone, so as long as they have enough Storm Surge, they're not going to have to worry about rotating from point A to point B like most of these teams. And then you can see the whole stack side, the eastern side of the zone, that has the elevation. So now it's kind of like a mind game for some of these players. Do I give up my little bit of high ground to rotate a little bit more center where there's less and less pressure from some of these teams? Or do I stay and hope for the best that the zone cuts back to the northeast?
Queasy already scouting out exactly where he wants to go next. With Cooper Reed and Curly holding down the high ground, though. Peterbot, Ritual, Cold, they're a little bit stuck here. They can't break through. Instead, they're going to have to deal with Prodoxy pulling up directly behind them, and they just don't have that much material. They've got a completely stacked trio in comparison, loadout-wise, and Prodoxy recognizes just how in tatters Peterbot's team actually is. That could be a very dicey situation. Instead, focus now from Gino, Pablo, and Prodoxy going to be applied directly towards Epic Whale and Paper, trying to make a slightly lower rotational approach, but Gino and Pablo, they are completely smothering Paper and Epic.
Yeah, just kind of forced them out of the zone. And it's not a ton of damage each and every second, but that definitely adds up. Look at Paper, HP absolutely diminished in the blink of an eye because of that rotation. But it might have been worth it. It pulls towards their south with a lot of these teams, but Prodoxy knows they're trying to put down pressure. 10 HP, barely surviving. There's a second two-quick beacon. That's Ritual. That's Cold and Peterbot. One's going to go down. Cold's going to fall as well. Ritual by himself.
Uh-oh.
Again, he's able to get the knock.
Cold is down.
There's no chance of him getting the elimination.
Pete's down. Oh, Richie's going to have to do it by himself. Oh my god, dude. Richie's going to have to do it by himself. I just saw Acorn go down. So, yeah, I was getting ready to say Polo and Agers. Oh, and Polo's down. Agers is going to have to clutch up now. That's 2 top-tier teams down, bro. I'm telling you.
Needs to start figuring out where he's going to get the damage from as a solo. You see in the numbers just kind of tip and top, up and down, 30 to 20. He's trying to figure it out. But
Aegis is trying to get in. He needs to kill. He needs to kill for Siphon. He really needs to get a kill for Siphon.
as soon as he starts to try to rotate in, high ground just focuses him and beats him down to 58.
But he's a solo, dude. He's a solo, and there's 45 players left in this tight little circle.
This little pocket, this little bubble of breathing room that is until
Oh, Storm Surge kicked in.
life again. Aegis just trying to see if he can come up with anything.
Oh, there you go. Aegis, Polo, Acorn. That team's gone.
They've got to go on.
Is Richie still alive?
Angry, Swizzy, Queasy, and Mustache, though. They've already found their spot.
Yeah, Mustache and them, bro. I'm telling you.
Queasy has one
They're taking the high ground.
high, don't get eliminated. And obviously in the first game, they gave it up because they didn't want to go down. This time is their chance. 400 plus damage above the threshold, and it's continuously counting upward. And they pull the zone. That is the biggest difference from game 1 to game 2. They now have the front side, and they have full.
Here comes Prodoxy. Oh, Prodoxy just went down.
He instantly gets knocked down. And now it's up to Pablo.
Queasy just cleaned him up.
Immediately trying to drop down low. They're trying to assess the situation and figure out if they can take it.
Gina's been on fire. Pablo,
Uh.
still 3 eliminations too, but 11 elims despite losing.
That was costly.
This is still
That was costly.
a classic scenario for Pablo and Gina. They might still be able to make it work. They're trying to see if they can figure out maybe take away a little bit of an
Look at that crowd.
these teams are looking for
Look at that crowd. Tell me globals aren't big, bro. Look at that crowd.
Mustache, Swizzy, and Queasy are the real threat right now. But
People singing in the back.
continue to apply steady pressure to
Oh, I love it.
the big
I wish I could go to a globals event.
just getting so picked apart in between.
And you see it as soon as they made it inside of the zone, they reconnected, making it that much harder for anybody to take him down. Marius, he's now trying to move up. 10 damage above the threshold. At least they're in front of the curve. Quickly looking towards the right. Currently Cooper and Reed. That was their momentary target, but they realized
Muzz, he just took out somebody. There's Clicks, Higgs, and Yamzo on second level tier behind, down below high ground.
King, big time though. It's eliminated. PH Sin. Soon to follow though. He's not careful. He's gonna be forced to pull back here, but King and PH Sin hit by hip. Blueberry Fizz punishing as much shield as they possibly can because they have to keep moving forward, playing back the zone because they have no materials. They're gonna be forced to drop another layer. It's not gonna allow them to press
I tell you what, man, Mustache and them is playing really, really good.
Well's hands.
you've seen a lot of the damage again. Higgs goes down. Pixie cleans that one up. Weezy
Look at that crowd, bro. Tell me esports aren't great, man.
in this game, 5 eliminations, and once again, they're connecting it. They're reinforcing. They're making sure nobody has a chance to get to
I love watching the FNCS.
Everybody underneath them is just a victim at this point, Jacob. Marius, Vanya, and Pixie seemingly undiscovered for the time being, though. Kanata and a little spot of trouble here. Just saw him take a massive chunk of his shield. Pixie now looking to play the medkit in the active zone. Swizzy, though, shutting down Vanya the moment that he tries to push forward. And Mustache directly assisting here.
Oh, Kanata just went down. Kanata just went down. Clicks is lost in the storm. Clicks just got lost in the storm.
ball rapid down. Not sure about both. The things are going sideways. Very
Oh my God.
It's even more worse because the zone is pulling over that mountain. If you didn't prepare for it,
Oh, and Swizzy went down.
Queasy trying to stop Surf Juice. He's gonna be the first one that does go down. But Mustache, Queasy, that's a huge signal. That's a huge sign. They're trying to get away from this catalyst on the low ground.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, dude. This is gonna. Mustache and Queasy, they're gonna lock it up, bro. They're gonna lock it up.
Continuing to find those eliminations. Pump gonna be dropped. It's only Baka and Yeko. And Panzer's eliminated.
Oh my God. Mustache. Mustache. Didn't I say something about Mustache, bro?
If you ask anybody who you think is gonna win, M8 is all what the crowd wants to see. And now 2 of their favorite players in the world just picked up a Game 2 victory.
That was a good game. That was a good game.
The arena as we speak, and you're seeing the looks on their face. Now I want to know what they're thinking. Frankie, let us know.
Mustache, you have made the gentlemen more happy than they have ever been here in Leon. What's it like
it's nice, feeling nice. I want to win more games, we're going to win more games, and they're going to scream more louder with every game.
I think they will. Queasy, it felt like in game one, you tried to take the high ground maybe a bit too early. You couldn't hold it. This time round, there were no mistakes. How did you make sure the plan went flawlessly?
I mean, it's never too early. Like, even first game, if we got some lucky pulls, we could have had it. 4 pulls we had, and then they pulled over the water and was kind of unlucky we couldn't get it. But game 2, we got some favors in our way, and that's it.
You don't need luck to win this, Queasy.
Cette fois, ils n'ont pas laissé passer l'occasion. Il a dit cette fois, ils l'ont pris cette hauteur et ils sont allés au bout. What's the plan now for the next games?
Keep going high and playing our game, that's it.
Le plan de jeu il est clair, on va jouer la hauteur à toutes les parties et on va aller chercher d'autres victoires. Big shout out, bravo to Queasy, Mustache and Sweezy!
Now, Mustache.
That was a good game.
Did practice the Gentle Mates chant. Do you want to give it one more go?
Yeah. Are you ready, guys? Gentle! Gentle!
Very good. Very, very good indeed. One more time though. Gentle, gentle, gentle! We're going to hear so much more from these crowds and these players after this short break. Do not go anywhere.
All right, we got like 3 minutes. Let me see if I can't work this out a little bit here. All right, let's see here. Is it this one? Yeah. Okay. Let me cut this light on. All right, we can see a little bit better. I mean, right. Alright, you see a little bit better. I'm not going to cut the light on this side, so we're going to have a little darkness on this side, but I want to show you guys real quick. Remember I told you I ordered a mount for my phone in my car. Well, it came during that game. It came, so we're going to unbox it real quick and see exactly what's in here. Okay. Pick it up right here. Slide it out. Something fell out. I'll get it in a second. What we do with boxes? Pepper, catch. Alright. We got this little box right here. We'll set that to the side. We got this piece. We're going to set that to the side. And right here is the base mount, which is, oh my god, what I've been needing. Looks like you loosen it there. Locks it into place, I think. Alright, and then we got this piece. And it goes we gotta undo this little screw right here and take this little bolt piece right here, put it on that like this, and then we take this piece and we stick it on that little ball, and then we bring the bolt up to the little screw thing, screw it on, and it tightens. It tightens the position of the phone so it doesn't go anywhere. Now, how does this part work? Oh, it has an extension as well where you can extend it and lock it in place.
2 going in the way of Queasy. Mr. High Ground himself.
Look at there.
Mustache coming out on top again. I
guys, click this
my
little button,
favorite part about Fortnite
and
is when we
it
see
shoots
these
out, so you can put
happen,
your phone in
we get
there
to
and you
talk
squeeze it down
directly
on
with
your
the
phone.
players. I get to see Swizzy
I like this.
cheesing because they got themselves a victory royale.
I do.
Viv, you know, they sit there and kind of call
And it's
out,
got this little
hey,
sticky
you know, we had some unlucky pulls
thing
game
here
one,
that
but
you
game
put
number
on your
2,
windshield,
everything went our way. Yeah,
so
exactly.
you
We
can
definitely
position
talked
it
about
in
that
any
already.
way.
The
But
interview
let's
that
get
we
off of
kinda
here
talked about, right? I love to hear the game plan, right?
and
Hey, you know,
go
what's
back
the
to the
plan?
game,
Just keep going, hype. Incredible
right?
game from them, and
Because
can
you guys
kinda
don't want to see
see the
me.
difference in
You want to see
style
the
of
game.
play, right? The control from this trio, you know, versus last game where we saw a less experienced team up on the higher ground kind of lose it very, very easily. It kind of seemed like, nah, Queasy's been up here before. They were well structured. Nobody was going to shoot them out. And I'm not going to lie, Kelly. After they won the game, they were kind of like hands up in the air. They were like,
That was a good game.
yeah,
It was a really good game.
nobody even looked up at them.
We're up to 7 likes on today's stream. Thank you guys for hitting that like button today. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate it. So remember, if you haven't had a chance to smash a like, smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. And as always, we love you. Look there. Kanata won game 1. Give me 1 second, I'll fix it, Haley.
And fourth, and coming from North America, I'm going to be a little bit biased. I want to see Cold, Peterbot, and Ritual, as well as Acorn, Agers, and Koyo make it to an end game. I want to see this rivalry that we've been building up for the last year. And again, these first 2 games, Vivid, we still have so much more, and we can expect out of those 2 trios much more to come.
Yeah, I mean, kind of strange game from Acorn's trio there. We almost never see them below Surge, and Surge was definitely an impact from their game right there. And instantly, you know, again, we talked about it after game number 1. We were like, hey, listen, like,
I paced it.
Like it would have worked if they would have just went ahead and third-party the Dystopia City fight. We didn't see them third-party the fight at all this game, right? So maybe instantly kind of veering away from that because it didn't work in game number 1. I don't know where they went on the map, but not feeling confident right now.
Man, dude, I want to keep talking about so much that we saw in the game. So much to unpack, but you heard that battle bus horn. It is that time. Once again, game number 3 is here and ready for us. What's going to happen? Let's find out right now.
Is it back? Is it better?
Here we go. Game number 3 is among us, and so much is going down around the map. It's kind of hard to keep focused. You got the Rangers Ruin Ospawn fight, 1-1. You got the triple contested, or even now a duo contested Dystopia City. You got drop spot roulette being played out as well, and you got Queasy's team and Kanata's team at the top of the leaderboard.
But we just saw Prodoxy and Tayson on the big screen here in Lyon, and they are going back to back to back with these off-spawn contests. Both of these teams wishing each other good luck in those pre-game player interviews. But Prodoxy, he's looking to make that first touchdown. Tayson actually going to be the first man to pick up a weapon. He's looking to see if he can close in on an initial knock. Gino already stripped of half of his HP. Tayson, though, with the leverage of the high ground, they have forced Pablo, Chino, and Prodoxy to be stuck dealing with the swarm. They are all tunneled inside of the same staircase. Rangers Ruin is getting desperate right now for Gino. He's only got 4 HP to work with, but Atris, he's actually going to be the first one fully eliminated. Gino still holding it down, delaying, buying enough time. Prodoxy with the separate angle approach, but Prodoxy, he's got to finalize on this. They have to capitalize on this moment, and they do. Dame strike yet again here in France, but no, it's been Ruin, Scarpa, Gabzetta, and Wei immediately getting involved.
This is what we were talking about. Maybe 2 games will play out as normal, but things are looking a little shaken up as Gabzetta. They're trying to take advantage of this fight that has gone 1-1. Now it's looking like Prodoxy is in trouble. Tino, he's the one with the good loadout. He's the one that has to try to figure out.
Can you hear Ailey? Is the audio back?
Trying to loot up, get some materials. They realize even with Pablo going down, they have to start to think about reboot card. When do we get it back? And they're not the only team. There's another team that's starting to look in this direction. For Gabzetta, Scarpa, and Wei, they got what they came for, and that's position over Rangers Ruin.
The pain right now for Chino and Prodoxy is that Chino is just stuck. Prodoxy had to create a little bit of space. He had to disengage. He had 0 mats. He knew he could no longer stay involved in this fight, but this is definitely going to put a damper on their overall game strategy because they're just going to have to wait it out. Gabzetta, Wei, and Scarpa, they're also going to reap all the benefits of taking Rangers Ruin for themselves.
See if that one continues to play out. We'll take a close eye on that one. But this one, Dystopia City, where we thought it was a triple contested fight. Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot go back to something they did early on in game 1. They landed towards the outside, but they do not know. Tinka and his entire trio is right above from OCE waiting for things to break out. But a triple contested, they're all landing towards the launch pad. Rise is the one that's getting good damage onto Biko, and that's the first knock. Flixie's taking some damage as well. Luckily for him, he has a momentary escape.
Drise, Yuma, and Koyota just putting on the burners right now. Flixie was trying to see if he could provide a little bit of coverage, but 1 versus 3, and he's not going to get the chance to escape. Asia coming out on top in game 3.
What is this? It might be a Brazilian thing, you know what I'm saying? Because both of the teams that qualified out of Brazil, or at least 2 of the 3, are now made their way over towards Rangers Ruin. Luckily for Prodoxy and Chino, though, they were able to get on out. So this is just a whole different mix-up that I didn't expect in a million years.
This is the Prodoxy effect right now. At Rangers Ruin, everyone is just crouching, creeping up on each other. But Scarpa gonna be some of the first to open up with some big shots. Still not feeling comfortable just yet, diving straight into the heart of the action here. But Scarpa, they recognize King. He might be trying to make this flank approach. He could be an isolated member. PH Zin, though, still going to be enough of a buffer zone here. And Gabzetta, Scarpa away. They've decided, you know what? You guys can have it. We're out of here.
Yeah, we got to figure it out. This wasn't even our drop spot. You guys can take it. Now King Phaser, PH Zin, they're actually choosing to kind of rotate away from Rangers Ruin, and that's a conscientious decision. Go for eliminations, go for points, go for Storm Surge, instead of sitting back, not knowing if that other team is still alive, and going for XP. These are the two different paths, and they're taking this one.
Talk about a silver lining, though, for Prodoxy and Chino. They're left all alone at Rangers Ruin with Brazil deciding for that early departure, but Peterbot, Ritual, Cold, they've struggled to really find a home with their initial drops just because they've been trying to go all around the map. And yet again, lobby number 3, we are seeing them try a slightly different approach here, but the result is still all the same currently, Jacob. They're at Dystopia City, and they're waiting to see when they're going to be able to try and take advantage of this contested area. But Pinka, Kazi, Aspect, they're also just trailing so close behind. It's making it really difficult for Peterbot, Gold, and Ritual to actually take advantage of vulturing some of the leftovers here at Dystopia.
And I just got my eyes glued to the mini-map right now, and I'm counting 1, 2, 3 different teams. But wait, one of them's Kazi, Tika, and Aspect. So I'm thinking right now, where is Epic Well, Victor V, and Paper? Maybe an early battle between Tay and the full trio is Swizzy, Merstash. 2 different bases towards the sky, and with the zone pulling a whole different direction this game than the previous 2, it looks like it's pulling south, maybe a western lean. Swizzy and Merstash and Queasy, they have the luxury of waiting for all these teams from the north to rotate down into them, and that means easy surge for the first place team.
And Merstash wasting absolutely 0 time alongside Swizzy, locking in some of these early surge tags. A little bit of hide and seek, but it's going to be Merstash coming out on top yet again. Goofy knocked, but you have to remember, despite Goofy being knocked, there's no real opportunity provided there for Queasy's team to follow up with a heavy key approach. So we're going to shift a little bit of the attention focus. Striker needed to watch his back, but he still got Tisco maybe to try and bring things up into fruition. But Salco Art School, they pose too much of a threat here, and Tisco, he'll be eliminated. That's just an easy cleanup.
Yeah, for a team, you said it yourself, Arc is playing fantastic as an individual the entirety of the week leading up to this, taking 1v1s against anybody who's taking that challenge. And now something coming from him, NA West. This could be a big make or break moment for his entire Fortnite career. As Reed, Cooper, Curly, same position we saw them in that last game, just at the edge of the zone. They're just trying to get as much Storm Surge as possible. Not sure who that is on the other side. Baka's team, Mansour's team. Those are the 2 possibilities it could be.
There's one thing that Peterbot's certainly got intentions leaning towards. It's maybe trying to key Marius Vanya and Pixie, but underneath, does he even know? Does he even realize? Victor V, Paper, and Epic Whale, they've decided maybe we should just bring the battle straight to Peterbot, Gold, and Ritual. Why are we the ones waiting to see whether or not they're going to stick around and hover inside of Dystopia City? Still, Epic Whale not necessarily primed with that loadout for fighting. And for that reason, and probably knowing that there's another team in that area, it's just best not to take that fight.
Yeah, it's just not easy to get the loadout that you want, especially when you're triple contested. And then a 4th team makes their way on over. So I think they made kind of the heads-up play to focus on staying alive, prioritizing position, realizing we can get a loadout, we can get Storm Surge elsewhere. Visuals, Braids, and a Minish. Business as usual for them. They land over towards Foxy. I think as soon as they realized the zone was pulling in their favor, they immediately start to set up their own surge base. And this is kind of a little bit of different kind of pacing of the game that we're seeing in game number 3 here. Instead of the all-out aggression, it looks like they're kind of playing more to what a lot of teams have practiced, which is storm surge bases.
Yeah, but Cooper finding that first knock just gave the green light for Curly Ree and himself to actually key find those additional eliminations. That's some big surge that they are getting online super early. And a handful of teams that have managed to have some success with these surge bases. But we have seen so many interventions, so many other teams, and that's something that Chat, Reason, and Mr. Savage don't take lightly. They're gonna spend a little bit of extended time inside of these early storm picks. They don't mind it, and it's giving them a good idea of which direction they actually want to head, especially when you're scouting out some of those surge bases in the distance. They know there's going to be teams looking to try and hold on edge of zone.
Yeah, and then kind of add in the fact that neither one of these two games that we've had so far has went down to heal off. So it's kind of giving you more and more of that confidence, like, hey, I can stay a little bit longer in towards zone. I can try to figure out Storm Surge, especially if you're uncontested like they are. You could always go back for those extra heals. As OXR HQ, just as busy as we last left it. Pixie, Marius, and Vanya, they kind of got a huge base, basically a 3-room apartment. Everybody gets their own bathroom. They're just kind of replenishing a lot of those builds that they used to get there. You see the extra hills in and outside of their base, and they're just a hop, skip, and a throw away from the actual zone. The only thing that we do not know yet, Taco, is do they see Peterbot, Ritual, and Colt? Do they know that team is there?
They're likely pretty aware that there's somebody lurking. Whether they know that it's Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual directly, that'll have to be answered later on. But Victor V, Epic Whale, Paper, they diverted that initial path, and they find themselves directly underneath Reed, Curly, and Cooper, trying to see if they can apply some pressure, get a little bit of damage going. But Victor V gonna get the worst end of that trade out, and Epic Whale still looking to provide a little bit of coverage. They've just infiltrated the base that Reed, Cooper, and Curly once held.
Yeah, I like the decision, though, for Reed, Cooper, Curly. They saw the zone kind of pull towards the south, a little bit further from where they're at. They say, hey, we got to focus on this. Agers, Acorn, Pollo. This time around, they're getting to play their side of the overall map. We're seeing it pulling towards the south, but Demon's Debris kind of just on the outskirts inside of the zone. So they're watching and seeing every team that rotates on over from that mountain. You got to think Alex and Anon reside there towards the south of that mountain. Coyote, Rise, Yuma, they landed over at Canyon. So they're just trying to take advantage of every team that might not be quick to the punch.
But it's still crazy to see that quick stat for Acorn's team, that they didn't take a single tick of surge all throughout the regular season majors. But here on the global level, they have been struggling back-to-back matches, finding a good grasp of that surge damage threshold. Right now, game 3 though, halfway point technically speaking for day 1. They had the opportunity. We just saw what Prodoxy, Pablo, and Chino were able to accomplish in that last lobby. When you're able to secure over 80 points in a singular match, you're still always in the running.
Yeah, on pace. Outside of maybe getting that victory royale where you do get the 9 extra points going from second to first place. So all you need is, a win, but 10 eliminations, that's about
You're
a 1-5
awesome.
game. Close the gap in an instant. We already
You're
saw
awesome.
that with a few teams so far.
You're
Dixie, Marius,
awesome.
Vanya, they're just rotating all around. You saw
You're
them go to
awesome.
OSR HQ. They took that massive launch pad with
You're
the Cloudberry
awesome.
phase to take over the Shining Span Bridge, prioritizing their rotation. Not really worrying about anybody else that's there, as Victor V, Epic, they're still here, but Cold is the one that's down. So Peterbot and Ritual got the pressure on their shoulders.
Tragedy there for Pablo as he's fully cleaned up too. So that's going to be a wipeout for Prodoxy's team. They'll have to sit and deliberate, figure out what they want to do for game 4 instead. But Ritual and Peterbot still trying to work side by side. The problem is they are so split from each other, Jacob. The moment that Yamzo, Flix, or Higgs might realize, hey, there's a primed up opportunity here to just outright key, but doesn't seem as if they're aware of that situation just yet.
And already we saw Cooper, Reed, and Curly try to rotate on out. But now they're running into a whole nother team, and Cooper's going to be the first one dropped. That's Snowy. Saad is still alive. Even though they do lose one, they have a numbers advantage. They can play for the revive, and I think Reed might know that just a little bit, trying to go for pressure underneath, break it through the walls. The Beast Control does not go over. They do a quick peek. Both teams kind of missing those shots, though. Reed has to be able to take advantage of these opportunities. They are inside of the zone, so in theory, Taco, Ryu, Snowy, and Saad have no reason to rotate out.
That little bit of a whip, though, from Reed might come back to haunt him here because Saad, Snowy, and Ryu in that 3 versus 1. This is so optimal for them to continue to apply steady pressure. They recognize Reet has no other choice except to try and live, to try and escape, and they are just ripping him apart from the skies. Every single crash pad, sure, it's taken them one step further, but fortunately for Reet, Marius, Pixie, and Vanya provide a little bit of that buffer zone. They're gonna force Sod and Ryu back, but Reet, he is still pinned down, stuck along the Peach face underneath Shining Span.
Yeah, it's almost you wonder, like, does he even have a singular reboot card, let alone two? He really had no choice but to disengage out of there because they will try to push Ace solo in that situation. But Malibuca, Wox, pings, 25 points through 2 games so far. A couple teams need to go down, about 7. He can start getting some of those placement points. But for now, they're just kind of focusing on one thing and one thing only, Storm Surge. That's going to open up the world in terms of flexibility the later this game goes on.
And this time, Malibuca's team not being third-partied now means that they've got a little bit more of that luxury room to try and get their Surge locked in, going up against Yapko and Panzer in a separate Surge base. Good ways across from them. Yuma, Koyota, and Brise, though, we saw the success they finally had with taking care of Veno's team, and now the question becomes, can we see a Ferdoxy Tayson type of performance? Can they convert this to a strong endgame finish?
Hey, you know the entire region usually kind of has some tricks underneath their sleeve that they save for big moments just like this. Swizzy, Queasy, Merstad, they're just making their way on over towards that bunker. They're one of the few teams in the lobby because they're uncontested at the Hive. They get that instant OXRHQ rank, and that is what they're able to use to kind of rotate on over to the vault and get some sort of exotic. You already see it's going to be the AR in Swizzy's inventory. And if you guys don't know, every shot you land with that AR, the next one just deals more and more damage. And putting it in Swizzy's hand, honestly, is very, very scary for the rest of the lobby.
And looted and booted, that is for sure. Merstash, Swizzy, Queasy, they've got so much time to work with in comparison to a lot of these other teams that are likely feeling a bit more pressured, a bit more pushed into trying to create, manifest some sort of surge damage just to be able to find the same type of rotates. But Queasy, we'll have to see what he gets up to later on because we know they love to look for height and they are setting up very early on, Jacob, strong loadouts to take over.
A tough situation, depending on where the zone continues to go for a lot of these teams towards the south. They're trying to make this part of the map their home base and kind of wait for a lot of the teams towards the north, towards the west to start to try and rotate in. Kanata, Bolts, and Rapid, almost 700 damage above the threshold. Now they're going to surpass that with a couple shots being landed. And they're just peeking through the cone right now. They already are in zone. They're just trying to figure out how many teams are around them, what teams are there as well, and what teams are rotating in. Ritual, Cold, Peterbot, that's going to be one that they focus on for a quick and short moment, landing some damage onto Ritual, forcing them down further towards their glide, just kind of making sure they can't get priority position.
The real trick in a set lobby like this, though, is finding those shots but not receiving any in return. Peterbot, Ritual, Cold, though, they've got to take this fight up against Tate and Raito. They need a recovery point. They've managed to bring Cold back off the reboot, but this is a fight that they're going to have to optimally turn into their favor. It's a little bit scattered right now, but they're just so low on that surge. They don't have any other options. They have to keep trying to apply pressure, but they might not get the chance. The surge is going to take care of them alongside Raito. Just an easy come up.
I am at a loss for words. After 3 games so far, they have failed to place inside of the top 17. That's where those placement points begin. They are in 31st place on the leaderboard, and it can only get worse if any of those 2 teams below them are still alive. But from the bottom side to the top side, Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstash. That's going to be one thing because they see every single player that goes down. They see every single trio that gets eliminated. And when you see them go down for Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstash, even Clixy, Yamzo, and Higgs, that's got to be a confidence boost.
Everybody just looking like a rags to riches comparison from what we just witnessed, but Yamzo, Clicks, Hips, they're still trying to take advantage of their convenient positioning here. They're spraying all of these teams that are just stuck on the congestion inside that edge of zone, teams that are fighting to try and lock in a little bit more surge, and Phaser, he is going to fall. Yamzo, a little bit too accurate, and Clicks just still continuing steady pressure application. These teams are not able to escape.
Yeah, I think I think they saw it at the corner of the eye. Another knock going down. A whole nother team, but they know if they can continue to focus in that direction, they can probably try to get the wipe. But on high ground, we're finally getting that peak. Pollo, Agers, and Acorn, but they're 69 damage below the threshold, which is surprising because we're at the count.
Remember to smash that like button if you haven't smashed it already, guys.
They have been granted the zone majority of this game, but just unable to really find the shots to put it to use, and they're falling further and further below.
They've got to be real careful here. Team sitting inside the building, and Agers just doesn't care. Mountain gonna be immediately eliminated. Just a max pop shot. Pollo now looking to follow suit here. They are feeling so confident. They know they got Goofy locked in their sights, and Agers finds the next elimination. There's their surge at last.
Locked and loaded, ready to go. And this is a team right here, right? When you got Pollo on this team, when you got Agers on this team, Acorn, debatably one of the best IGLs in Fortnite, them going down early, that's like poking the bear. That's like poking the bear in the wilderness. Now something I would never do, and now they're here in this game, and they're out for redemption.
The problem right now that I'm thinking about, Jacob, is Queasy loves to look for height right around this period, right around that 8th zone time frame. But with Acorn now looking much healthier and a mastermind IGL in his own right, you have to anticipate that there's going to be a very strong challenge for height between those two teams. And that's not even considering other trios in the lobby like Vanya, Marius, Pixie, all of these experienced veterans that know full well what type of potential high ground holds, especially with the zones falling over this part of the map. It is a very strong pinpoint location. So many teams are going to have to burn through materials in those lower layers.
Yeah, and you can kind of see in the minimap, majority of the teams, even with the zone currently opening up, are like on that 50, where the half and half actually was. And even further south, nobody really wanted to make that move because you know as well as I do, inadvertently with the crash pads, Flowberry Fizz, it just makes you an open target. A Savage Chat reason they're getting a little bit more aggressive, trying to take advantage of Meram, Buyu Ryu. They're underneath as well. I think Wixie might still be alive. Nope, saw it in the feed. Queasy's gonna take him down, so Savage Chat reason, even with 2 eliminations, almost 900 damage above the threshold. They're feeling good.
Agers, Pollo, Acorn, depending on which direction they head next. I was going to say they might need to be wary of Mr. Savage's team, but instead it's going to be secondary height as the focal point. They're just getting sprayed out, though. Their builds not being allowed to fully lock through. Yuma, Trise across the way, but no! We thought those 2 eliminations that Agers just secured would be enough, but the surge threshold, they just climbed to such a high level, Jacob. They're still sitting 99 below, even with 3 eliminations. Finally, they're going to tick over into just 3 above, but it's still not enough. They can't find a footing until they get more surge.
They are just burning through materials. Even with that elimination on the reset, they are not going to be able to get a lot of that loot. It's going to go to the wayside, and now they have to worry about their rotation, feeding them the punch. Arkskull and Sauco, they might be below the damage threshold, but Pollo, Agers, Acorn focusing on this rotation because they know it's not going to get easier. In fact, only 7 builds onto Agers. It's going to get harder and harder unless they find that key refresh.
But look at Arkskull and Sauco. They're a little bit beat up here. Still, Mr. Savage, Chad, Frieza, and they're immediately trying to cut straight to the front side of zone. Might have been a little bit too ambitious here, though. The lobby has taken notice. Chap, no shield, no time to recover it just yet either. Mr. Savage doesn't have any white heals to his name. They've got to just fight it out with teams directly behind them. But Chap finally getting the opportunity. He's trying to see if he can replenish just enough to really frag out here for his team. Sod, Snowy, Ryu, though, doing a great job holding him. And Pollo stuck in the same booth.
Not good for Braids and Visuals. They're going to get eliminated, but Pollo is going to get dropped. Agers still taking a lot of damage. They're trying to use the crash pad to get out, but just stuck in zone. They go down, and it's Queasy, it's Swizzy, it's Mustache yet again. Not only the kings on top of the castle, but the ones lighting up the feed. Down below, a whole different ball game. Iamzo, Clicks, and Higgs, they are in the mud right now, having to figure out where they're going to go because Zone is slightly moving up over that mountain. They realize no other team is in their path. It's now or never.
But the problem is they've got Swizzy, Queasy, and Mustache on height, beaming everybody underneath them. These guys are applying so much steady and consistent pressure that nobody's having a chance to look up just yet. They've spotted out a team tunneling through. It's Malibuka and Wox trying to see if they can break through from that secondary height position, but with Queasy now overtaking the front side, overtaking front side height. Now everybody else stuck underneath. The This is everything for Queasy, Mustache, and Swizzy.
And just in the back pocket, you see 6 flashes, the exotic Slapberry Fizz, which heals HP, a just in case, but up goes Pixie. They're trying to go for that opportunity, but Mario says, no, 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 we need to disengage. We cannot go for it, at least not right now, but he's taking so much damage on his way down. But Swizzy, distracted for a short moment. A lot of his shields go out the window. Luckily for him, his entire trio is still there. 2,000 damage above the threshold. They won last game with 12 eliminations, and they're well on their way to do it again.
And that's the problem for everybody else in this lobby, is that Queasy, he is just tarping fully unleashed. Nobody there to stop his path. 2 of them, the best braggers in the world by his side. And Kanata, he is down and out for the count. Bolts, Rapid, trying to see if they can secure a strong, at least break into that top 5 placement maybe. But Ianzo, Higgs, also a little bit scattered here. Ianzo's gonna fall. It's Higgs who's trying to come up big time here. Big elimination though for Higgs. Gonna buy him a little bit of a lifeline. He's doing everything he can to try and play through this backside of zone. The Siphon's still carrying him just a bit further. But Marius, Vanya, Pixie, they're looking to layer swap. They know they don't have enough, and Marius taking out the moment that he tries to chop through.
He just gets stuck. That 1 second cost him what could be an opportunity here as Pixie's just trying to make it to the front side of the zone. He's just getting cut down every step of the way, but finally reuniting with Vanya. This is their moment. They have to figure out a way to make this count. They're missing a huge chunk of HP. They're using what they can out of the med mist, but there's still a whole team on high ground and another team lurking underneath. That's Chap, Savage, and Reason. They're making every single one of these uncontested games count as Vanya's making a play, challenging for the high ground. He has it for now, but how long can he hold on to it?
Vanya doesn't even care that it's just a 2 versus 3. He still tries to take that challenge, but Swizzy immediately, not against my IGL. I've got the backup here. Swizzy taking him out. Vanya, sorry that it's a fellow gentleman, but it's just business, not personal. Cammy also eliminated for Stash. Now trying to see if he can take out Chap along the way, but Savage, Mr. Savage still making it work.
This is it. It's basically all EU here in the end game. Chap down below, trying to make a play. He's gonna get cut short. Reason as well. It's all up to Savage, but no, the entire trio ends up back in the lobby. Swizzy has finally come down. He's ready to steal this game away. They have 12 eliminations, already matching their last game win.
Don't count out Pix, Darman, Demons though. These guys love winning through the low ground. We've seen them do it time and time again. And Queasy with no materials. Pix also no materials.
I told y'all to watch out for Mustache. I told y'all.
Swizzy, they're starting to drop. They're trying to see if they can close this one out. Queasy finds a knock. Demus is out. Queasy going for the
back-to-back win.
Queasy, Mustache, and Swizzy for a Game 3 victory royale.
It's only taken 3 games to get our first team with not only multiple victory royales, but the back-to-back 12 eliminations in that last game. More than that in this game. We are looking what could possibly be a great team in the making. Frankie, don't you agree?
I really do agree. The fans in Leon again going absolutely wild for this team. Queasy coming into the Global Championships. They said that this competition was going to be owned by North America, but right now it's being owned by the High Ground Kings. How was that game? Just a complete repeat of the second.
I mean, we're just playing our game, that's it. Just playing end game, playing height, and that's it. Nothing more.
But why isn't anyone able to challenge you for that height right now? We've got huge names. In fact, in that last game, all of our top 5 trios made it to the end game, but you still came out on top.
I mean, I feel like it's the hardest of the hardest. It's hard to have a good mid game. A lot of teams are contested, so just hope we stay uncontested and we'll probably win.
You mentioned being uncontested. You may regret that. Benji, à toi.
Yeah, Swizzy, excuse me, Swizzy. Man, 3 games, 2 victory royale. What's your secret, guys? What's your secret?
Take height, don't die.
Le secret, c'est de prendre la hauteur et de pas mourir. Have you got any words for your fans, for the Gentleman fans?
Gentle. That's it. Gentle.
Thank you, guys.
Mustache, What an incredible global championships for you so far. Is it all about the calls that this man is making, or is it all the chants that the M8 fans are making?
It's everything. Quizzy, Agile Gold, fans, crazy, just best fans ever. Can't ask for better fans.
They're definitely proving themselves to be some of the most incredible fans in esports right now. However, we're halfway through our games today on day one in Lyon. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be evaluating everything so far.
Do you get scared? Or do you feel lost? I can smell fear. I've been there before. But you made it through the storm again. You did it on your own again. Goosebumps in your skin. Do you feel what I feel? I'm waiting on you to notice that you got what you wanted. We don't got time to cry right now. Only got time to focus. Heads on a wait list. I was armed and dangerous. Take a shot, leave them faceless. I was armed and dangerous. On a whole different level. I can see why they hate it. I was armed and dangerous. I was armed and dangerous. You should have noticed. I've been focused. You should have known I'm locked and loaded. You should have noticed.
Two minutes, guys. 2 minutes. Go to the bathroom. Go get you a snack. Do something like that, and then come on back.
Do you get scared? Or do you feel lost? I can smell fear. I've been there before. But you made it through the storm again. You did it on your own again.
You're awesome!
Do you feel what I feel? I'm waiting on you to
W Ryder.
Global Championship.
Awesome.
My, oh
Thank
my.
you so
It
much,
happened.
Ryder.
It happened. The back-to-back from a Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstash.
22 months. 2 more months, and Ryder, you'll be 2 years, bro.
About it a lot.
2 more months.
But
That's
EU
awesome.
still
Thank
doesn't
you
have
so
global
much,
championship
Ryder.
title.
Big
And
dubs
he
in the
said,
chat.
I'm going to make that change. And you know, it's funny, too, because Swizzy said the most famous Queasy quote of all time. Take height, don't die. Guys, take height, don't die. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, Z, Kelly, it just looks so easy right now. They're getting everything they want. I mean, Quizzy pretty much said, he was like, hey, listen, we're just playing our game right now, and it is working to perfection. I mean, you just take a look at them, right? They're sitting up there, no worry in the world. They do such a good job at applying pressure to exactly the right teams, right? Keeping an eye on not only the second height team to make sure, of course, you know, the most likely team to go ahead and try to pressure them off the height, always keeping a close eye on them. But one thing that I always notice when we kind of tune into like Swizzy's POV is that he is so keen to look like back in the storm and make sure nobody's going to come up behind them and make some sort of sneak play.
They are just so aware of everything that is going on around them. And you know, you say take height, don't die. Usually when a team has height so dominantly, a lot of other players will just kind of leave them alone, focus on the low and mid ground.
Yeah.
But that is not the case for this trio. Both games now that they have won from height, someone has tried to steal it away from them. And that actually was one of the closest height steals we've seen.
You're
between the two
awesome!
teams. Vanya and Pixie actually being able to build over them.
Thank you,
But
Ryder.
Queasy,
You're
Mustache, and Swizzy were
amazing.
able to
You're
easily
amazing. Thank you
recover
so
from
much
that
for the
and
gifted,
then take
bro.
height once again.
It just looks so clean, man. And it's crazy too, right? Game 2, 12 elimination victory royale. Game 3, you know what? We'll get another victory royale. Let's just toss a few more. Sprinkle on some eliminations on top. My gosh. And of course, once again, Queasy still 100% locked in. Let's take a look. They are starting to pull away with a lead, and this is just the halfway point of day number 1.
What? 300 points, basically? They have established a 122-point lead just after game number 3. I mean, yeah,
Oh
I guess
my
that's what a
God.
back-to-back win will do.
You know, I got word. Not only did we get to see this fantastic last game, we have a listen in. Let's take a look on how it went for the trio.
Yeah, I'm 100 mats, 100 mats. I'm below. Take. On me. Shove this low. I'm playing zone. Yeah, chugging, go. Yeah, me too. Go up. I'm high. He's here. Yeah. Crack. Nice. That's nice. Yeah, zero mats. I have 3 pills. I have 5 shots. Take. Yeah, drop. I see solo. Yeah. Dead. Nice. 100. I'm dropping down. I'm 1 HP. 100. Yes. 100. That's at 2. 1 HP. Nice.
I mean, literally the whole thing that makes that entire thing work, right? Obviously, we've been watching the high ground for, 2 games now. It's kind of been the same play style. Queasy and Mustache kind of play that high ground while Swizzy kind of drops down and looks for those eliminations. Because Swizzy was actually on a lower level, he instantly called out, hey, I'm chopping it out. Like, if they want to be above you guys, I'm just going to chop it out. The fact that those comms come in so fast, but the reaction from Queasy and Mustache to just instantly kind of move themselves to a safe spot to make sure they don't get chopped out, played to perfection within an instant.
It is that veteran mentality that Queasy is able to bring. You said that yes, EU has not been able to get a global championship spot, but Queasy's gone 2nd place now twice. He has been right on the cusp of being able to claim an international competition, and he really just provides and shows time and time again his knowledge of the game, and not just the game, but his knowledge of a land setting, of what kind of win position you need to do, and he gets his teammates in that position every single time.
It's just so cool, man. Just watching the way they play, how they move, how they're jumping together as they're calling out things. It's not like, we're gonna move this and I'm going this way and you're going that way. No. The moment they start to move, they're one single entity moving in the same direction, calling out targets. They are so impressive. This is scary, guys. We got 2 victory royales back-to-back from the trio. Now, of course, in 2nd place, though, the trio that won game number 1, Kanata still holding strong, right? This is still Kanata at the end of the day. They are still putting on a performance. They want to make sure they're like, okay, Queasy, you got a VR, but Kanata said, hey, look, I'm going to get 4 wins on land, okay? It's going to happen.
Big thing for me right now is that the trio is making it to the end game right now, but I'm not gonna lie, like game number 1 was super good. The follow-up games kind of feel like they're kind of just like picking up points, being a little stragglers, right? Not necessarily having that great trio, everybody's together, we're healthy going into the end game type of game, which I think is kind of a good thing when you think about it, Kelly.
It is.
Like, they haven't really bounced back after game number 1, but they're still in 2nd place.
Well, if you look at the dichotomy of Queasy's trio and Kanata's trio, where Queasy's going on this ultra aggro, he's just controlling the high ground. Kanata's playing a bit more passively, and we saw that in games 2 and games 3, and we already knew that he was kind of playing a passive early game. But what I really appreciated in this end game right here, they were in the best position, so they were kind of actually staying in the back of zone. And there was a moment there where zone is pulling up a hill, and everyone was getting congested trying to climb over that hill. But Kanata, bold scrap it, they stayed back a little bit, waited just a moment, maybe
took a little bit of storm damage there, but then they were able to kind of pass away through the congestion and be able to make it into the end game. To me, I say this so many times, to me, what makes a top player isn't what they do when everything's going their way, it's how they're able to handle it when things aren't.
Oh my gosh, that's so sick. Guys, I don't know if you saw third place there. Seti climbing up 2 placements, taking over third place. Now we're going to break down a little bit of what we saw, but why don't we hear from Seti himself, who's hanging out in the player lounge.
Obviously, it wouldn't be a Fortnite Global LAN if we didn't talk to our 2022 Invitational champion, Seti, and I'm so happy it's because you're in third place right now, Seti. Is this something you were expecting going into today's competition?
I wasn't expecting for us to be that high because obviously we're contested those spawns, so it's definitely harder for us. But we ended up surpassing our limits, and now we're third and going just small break. Then we're gonna focus even more and hopefully finish third as well at the end of the day.
And it's really interesting to me that this trio was formed as a last chance trio for Major 3. Yapko coming back from his time in North America. Panzer being a player everyone wanted to play with, despite his lack of global experience. How have you managed to make this team look like a championship contender so quickly?
I think we all are very experienced, especially my IGLing skills are like, they can really push us to the limits in end games. To get us through the mid games, and Yapko and Panzer are just both crazy fraggers, both support each other and do their roles perfectly, so we just match each other so well and it works. I don't know how, but it works.
Il se demandait comment ils étaient aussi forts après si peu de temps ensemble, et il dit que c'est surtout qu'ils sont très expérimentés et qu'il a 2 très bons fraggeurs avec lui. Now, how will you keep consistency during this whole week?
I think we just have to focus on ourselves and just get through the mid game because it's the most difficult, getting the surge, and then whatever comes. We're just gonna focus every single game like it's the first game that we're here, and yeah.
Your old teammate Cami is also in the top 5. In fact, he's 4th place right now. And then we have Dimas Dom and Pigs.
We got 15 minutes till the next game, guys.
What is it about these Polish players that makes them so successful on LAN?
I think it's, again, the experience. I think we're all very used to playing on the big tournaments. And I actually predicted that like Cami and Pigs are going to be high up. So I'm very happy that they're behind us as well.
Can I ask what it's like to be at a LAN and not having Cami by your side?
I don't think it changes much, but...
I mean, it just means we have more chance to have a top 5 full of Polish teams.
Ça change pas tellement finalement d'avoir pas son collègue à côté, mais il est très heureux d'être là.
And so, just thinking about the rest of the competition, Choka has already asked you about staying consistent. Have you been looking at the lobby and thinking, okay, these are the guys we need to look out for? Who is your competition here?
I mean, obviously, Queasy, he's right now on 300 points, but I think like all eyes are on him, so he might have some trouble going into next games.
We will see. Polska Gorum, indeed. Let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much for that interview, man. I'm telling you, man, this is my favorite part about LAN. We get to hear from the players, get to hear that insight, what Seti's thinking about in the moments. And I think I agree, right? He kind of calls out, hey, eyes are now on Queasy. So it's going to be up to him and his trio, right? Do we start to feel that pressure? Do we just keep going? I mean, we have to remember this is a 2-day format, right? So you're only going to have so much in the tank. How do we make sure we make that span across 2 whole days? If there's anyone that can do it, I have faith in Queasy. Now, we're just going to ignore the fact that there's 4 trios that in the top 5 that are from EU. EU's absolutely dominating. This is, it's fine. All we need is Kanata. He's up there. But look who's still lurking, right? Higgs, Clix, and eAmza, who are also holding on strong. They're performing well. Kelly, things are looking good.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people tend to doubt this trio, and when we saw in Major number 3 that there wasn't the best performance out of them, but they did not allow that to really hurt their emotions. They kind of took a moment between weeks 2 and 3 over this season to kind of collect themselves. They said that they went off stream, they kind of worked on their emotions a little bit, and then they came back stronger than ever, and we're seeing how that's paying off right now. We know that this is really an emotional team, and when they go down, it kind of affects them a lot. So to see them be able to kind of mature their emotions in the span of just a few weeks impresses me so much. But I gotta give Higgs a shout out. You know, he's originally from NA West, if you remember Batman Booga, and his solo clutch right there is what really climbed him up the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, definitely still need to see a good game from this trio. I think collectively, as all three kind of being up and alive and healthy, and they got the mats and everything like that, because that's usually what they're good at, right? They're usually good at kind of controlling the front side of the moving zone. They don't necessarily usually go for the high ground, but the fact that we haven't really seen them as a full healthy trio, we haven't really been able to see that from them yet. So the fact, again, you know, another one of those instances where, you know, it's doing very, very well, 6th place. Still yet to see like that Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo-esque game, which is really good for them, right? Maybe this little bit of a break can kind of help lock them back in and actually go ahead and portray their real game plan when it comes to the end game.
But even looking right here, while Zone is pulling towards them, they're a little bit ahead of the gate. They're making sure that they're aware of anyone that is below them, allowing them to kind of encroach onto their territory right there. Just like David was saying, they love to be in the front side of Zone, but these little adjustments that they're making, kind of just staying back a little bit, picking off these weaker players so that they get those refreshes. They see that they don't have that many mats, so instead they're going to go for the Elims. They're going to play a little bit back, and they don't want to control the rest of the lobby if that means that there's so many other incredible teams that are going to potentially be able to take them down.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of caught on a rotate, right? Kind of go to one of the sides of the moving zone. So many people are kind of going to catch up to you and get boxed up very, very easy. But like Kelly mentioned, right, Higgs kind of pulling it together, making sure that he picked up a couple of eliminations and placement points to clutch that one up, made that one a good game.
That's so sick. Guys, I just got word we have something really special. So obviously, for the first time, we have an anthem created by David, and we actually have David standing by, and we get to talk to him right here, right now about it. David, obviously, first off, what's going on? It's great to see you. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. It's good to be back.
That's right. I was literally gonna say. So we met at Pro-Am. We're basically Fortnite fans. Me and David are basically best friends. We talk every day. We play Fortnite every day. Not trying to brag or anything. David, what is it like, man? So in case people for some reason don't know, you actually started playing in Fortnite, right? Yeah. Then you kind of started getting into the music and you just boomed. And then now you come to us and we're like, hey, you know what'd be cool is like if we kind of put some of your music in the game. And it was like, okay, cool. Hey, what if we made an anthem though? And we're like, I'm sorry, David, what did you say? Let's do that. I mean, to take your story from playing Fortnite to making music for Fortnite, now the official anthem for the Global Championship. How does that feel for you?
But it feels amazing. Like, just from where I started OG Fortnite I started playing season 2 of the game just as a kid, and then growing up with the game year after year, and then starting to like make music and then have that full circle moment coming back straight to the game is beautiful, bro.
Dude, that's so
and
sick.
you can find that in the item shop, guys. Remember to use code BOOTSTOBUTT when you do.
This was happening, and then one day I get
you.
like invited to like a meeting, and they're like, "Hey, so this is the meeting for our official anthem." I'm like, "Wait, whoa! I've been asking for like an anthem for so long," and they're like, "Yeah, it's David," and they play us like the animatic. I hear your song for the first time, and I see like what the visuals are gonna like could be. I'm not gonna lie, I actually cried because I was like, "This is so cool!" Like for the first time, we get something like an anthem, and it's not just like anyone, right? It's you coming from that background. Like, what led you to kind of making this song, like choosing what you did? Because like it feels like we as competitive are like seen, you know, it feels like it was made for us.
Yes, bro. So basically it's like when you're playing Fortnite, especially in FNCS, everything is high stakes, high blood pressure, high adrenaline, right? So I wanted to make sure I got that and encapsulated that feeling through the song, so it felt like you were in the end game, you were in the game yourself while listening to the track. It's crazy.
I love too. So I actually used to like edit before kind of jumping into all this broadcast stuff. And I think one of my favorite parts is that like, it is like someone is editing this together, right? And then the characters in Fortnite are kind of jumping around in this cyberspace. Like, that's got to be so cool. Like, did you have any like input on like, hey guys, this is what I want to kind of see, this is what I'd love to kind of bring to life? Was there anything maybe like that you called on, you're like, this is what I want, and it like happened?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very collaborative effort. I feel like with my love for animation and just animated things in general, especially the game's animated style as well, going through that mixed media format where we're showing the clips of MCS players, the match of the game, and the 2D animation, and just how they encapsulated my character as well inside of the video. It was just like insane to see all three formats come together. It was insane.
It's so cool. David, just thank you so much for loving Fortnite so much that you were like, hey, let's just make something cool for the community. Thank you so much. Before I let you go, I'd love for you to kind of give you the stage, to call out anything you're doing, to call out where people can follow you and find you, because they need to do that.
Thank you guys so much. Shout out to Fortnite. Shout out to everybody that made this possible. Shout out to you, the fans and the players. Shout out to the pros. My name is David. You can find me everywhere at D4VDDD. Love you guys. Love Fortnite. We out.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much for your time. And again, thank you for one of the coolest anthems of all time. It is so sick. We've actually talked about this for so long. Like, man, it would be so cool to have like an anthem, and like to actually get one, and it to be David is like literally a dream come true for me personally. It's so awesome to see like someone else who loves Fortnite made a song for Fortnite, dude.
What I love is, like, you know, usually, oh, we'll gas people up, whatever. We've literally been singing this song for the last 4 days, and it's like stuck in our head. It's in a little earworm. We can't get it out, and it's just so good. And when we all got to watch that video for the first time together, we just kind of were astounded, stunned, and silent a little bit. It really does just kind of is the perfect combination of what you think a Fortnite fan is really bringing. Like, what you can tell that he loves the game, and that makes me love the music even more. And what I love personally is all of these players behind me getting back to their stations, because Zeke, I am so excited for 3 more games today.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, if you didn't know, at the halfway point, we kind of give the players a break, right? We let them kind of walk away, take a rest, take a breather. Maybe they can talk about their trio mates, their coaches, whatever they need to do, and then they come back to the stage. We continue playing Fortnite. Now, as we kind of start to continue to get them back, we actually have another special interview. It is Loserfruit who's standing by with Miniminer.
Thank you so much, Zeke. I'm up here in the VIP lounge, and oh boy, do we have a VIP. It's Loserfruit. It's Fortnite icon, Loserfruit. Firstly, how you feeling? Are you enjoying the event? What are the vibes like?
I love it here in France. The atmosphere is amazing. Everyone is, I love the crowd. France, j'aime France.
Absolutely love it. Now, I mentioned there, you're a Fortnite icon. You are an icon. You're in the Icon series outfit. I mean, how does that feel? What does that feel for you?
No, it's like the biggest honor to be an icon, but like, I'm the only icon here. I don't know where they are, like, where you guys at?
We're calling out you other icons. Well, you should be here. What's going on? Let's talk about the games. Really electric, as you mentioned, the atmosphere here. Unbelievable stuff. What are your thoughts so far? What are you thinking about the game so far?
The games have been entertaining. It's good to see Power doing well in the last game that they just were in. So, yeah, hopefully keeps getting better for them.
I mean, you have a little bit of LAN experience yourself, right? You played at the Pro-Am with Alex. What was that like?
Oh, Alex is a goat. He carried me hard in Pro-Am, like, because I was terrible, but, you know, it's fine. He'll show him it.
I thought you carried him, personally. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, what do you have to say to that team right now? They've had a really good game, right? They had an 11th place right there, a few eliminations. They're starting to grow into it. Is that something we can expect to see from these guys throughout the rest of the day?
I think they'll just keep getting better and better, as long as they're having fun, but they just, like, dominate it. So I think we'll see more of them on the screen. Put them on the screen, broadcast, all right? So we need to see more Power, all right?
You guys hear that behind the scenes. We want to see more of them. I want to see these guys popping off, and also I want to see more of the games. So I want to big thank you to you, of course, Loserfruit, for joining us here on the interview. Got any final words to say to the fans at home, to all the people in the arena as well?
Thanks, everyone, for watching. This performance is amazing. Thanks, Fortnite.
Back to the desk.
Hey, Loserfruit, thank you. Thank you for being here as the only icon represented that's not playing. Thank you. Where are your other icons at? Anyway, guys, in case you didn't know, Double XP is happening this weekend in celebration of the Global Championship. Jump in. There's a bunch of stuff happening. BR, Grapple Glove, and the Pump Shotgun coming back. Reload's got 100% rare chest spawns with some other unvaultings happening. And then finally, Blitz has melee mythics when you drop off the Battle Bus. Jump in right now. Double XP. Don't miss out. Make sure you take advantage of that. Now, of course, as we continue the conversation, the players continue to kind of roll back in. We're getting closer. I kind of caught a moment there. Queasy talking right there. Swizzy Merstash are kind of still strategizing. They're taking every single moment possible to make sure they are ready to come back for Game Number 4 even stronger.
Well, this is where things start to get interesting, in my opinion, because like you already mentioned, right, the break has happened. and the fact that 2 dominant performances have happened, I'm going to be looking towards these next 3 games because now Queasy, Mustache, and Swizzy, they might be getting even more respect for this. Everybody might be looking at the high situation and be like, yeah, we've got no chance if we actually go for it. Let's just give them full respect, which would kind of open the door even more. Even though it already looks open for Queasy, Mustache, and Swizzy, it might open it up even more. But now the opportunity as well for some of the other teams to maybe kind of counter-strat some of the things that may be going on in the early game. Obviously, there's a couple teams that we think could be doing better right now, and hopefully this little bit of a break gives them just that opportunity to go ahead and figure something out.
I mean, when there's a team that just dominates high ground so well, a lot of the other teams will kind of build this little bunker over themselves in low and middle and kind of, you know, refute eliminations from them. But Queasy, Mustache, and Swizzy aren't allowing that to happen. They are making sure that they are not controlling high ground passively, which we've seen teams do in the past. They are making sure that they are chopping out all the roofs, making sure that they're still getting eliminations, and that is what makes them so dangerous. We see teams go for height and get that consistency, but rarely do we see that in tandem of also having the most amount of eliminations in a game.
I kind of want to flip the script here a little bit, right? Obviously, we're talking about Queasy kind of in that #1 spot. There's a couple other trios, namely Peterbot, Ritual, Cold, right? Pollo, Acorn, Agers. What's going on? It seems like this trio, these trios we know should be performing well, right? I kind of made a joke at one point last game. I was like, oh, it's interesting, like Peterbot, Ritual, Cold are 31st. You're like, that's interesting. That's how many eliminations they should have at this point. But that's not the case. What do we think is happening here?
Well, obviously, I think games #1 and 2 were kind of like feelers. They were kind of trying to see what they can actually do with their drop spot kind of situation that they have going on. And then games #3, we kind of tuned in with them. They pushed into Dystopia City pretty early on. And then I was like, whoa, their map situation looks very, very good. They've got a pretty clean loadout. I just don't think they really know where to go from there. Like, it doesn't really seem like they have a full laid out plan, which is why, you know, looking at this break right now, hopefully the coach kind of comes in and talks to them and is like, hey, listen, this is what you guys need to do after you kind of get an established loadout and the materials needed.
You know, there's a word that we like to use in North America when we describe Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, and even Acorn, Agers, and Pollo, and that is conditioned. They condition the lobby, but that lobby that they condition is just North American Central. There is a very specific strategy that we see time and time again that these players get to practice over weeks and kind of build up that one meta, and then they are conditioning the lobby to kind of play around them. Well, they have 7 other regions now. They have Europe to contend with, so that strategy that they have conditioned the rest of North America doesn't really matter now. So I think that they're kind of being thrown for a loop. That respect that so many other teams give them in North America isn't necessarily seen here today.
Yeah, there is that meta within the meta, right? And it kind of, we usually talk about that around these times, right? On LAN, when players have kind of time to come together, meet each other, say what's up, and then practice, right? And I love that you call that out, Kelly, because I didn't even consider that even for a moment, but that's so true, right? Everyone else is going, oh, here we go, finals, Pollo, Peterbot running around doing their thing. Got to make sure we respect them. Everyone else is like, hey, no, this is a global stage. Like, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to walk away at the end of this as a global champion. How different things are here in a LAN setting.
Yeah, 100% right. That could be playing a factor, right? Obviously, we've kind of talked about the situation between Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot, switching the focus over to Acorn, Pollo, and Agers. They've got, like, it's like an easy task, but a hard task at the same time. They know kind of what's going wrong. It's Storm Surge, right? But Storm Surge is one of those mechanics in Fortnite competitive that's pretty much the hardest thing to kind of figure out for any one of these teams, right? They know what they need to work on, but it's like, man, how do they?
And, you know, we were talking about the start of the show, especially Miniminer was pointing out how Queasy on the northwest side will build up that pillar, or will build up Storm Surge on top of that pillar. And then we actually saw it in game #3. Agers, Acorn, and Pollo doing the exact same thing. But then if you look at that drop map, there is not that many teams that are landing near them, and a lot of the teams that are landing to the west of them are fighting each other. So there just isn't the same opportunity that someone like Queasy, who has a similar starting strategy, is able to pull off that they aren't.
That is so cool and crazy at the same time, right? These almost like micro strategies these players are trying to utilize. Now, of course, both of these trios are world class, right? I'm not worried. But at this point in the competition, we only have 3 games left to go, right? And the idea is we set ourselves up with this first 6 games, then day #2, we only have 6 games, right? To try and make a fight for that #1 spot. So for both of these trios, I kind of want to see, like, we need to get into this. We need to make some moves right here, right now. But with that being said, it's almost that time to hop back into all of the action. We want to toss it on over to the casters to say what's up before we get things started.
Appreciate it so much. It has been a phenomenal time frame so far here today, Jacob. But Leon, je t'aime, because you guys are putting on such a strong crowd performance too. The way you guys are gassing up these players, Jacob, it's so awesome to see.
Honestly, coming into this venue, I was kind of like, oh man, what's gonna happen today? How's the atmosphere? You could hear them 2 hours before the event even started. I had to go in the middle of that crowd and get a video of my own, but the hype is real and the game is ready. Let's get right into it.
And we're back. One more battle bus ride taking us in to game number 4 here, Jacob. But the important steps are starting to be made. The players have had a slight opportunity now, revitalize themselves, see if these strategies, revisit some of those strategies even for a good portion of our teams realistically. But for Doxy and Tayson, this has been the early game theme so far here today, because these guys have just been clashing nonstop. But we saw that Brazil interference take place in the last lobby, so both these teams know they have got to be even faster with this outcome. It is all or nothing, because if Brazil continues to intervene, they're just not going to be able to build back up from Rangers' ruin.
Yeah, and it wasn't just one, but it was 2 different teams, but the drop remains the same, the 50-50 on one of the chests. For Doxy, he's going to have to disengage and try to find some floor loot elsewhere. Chicho was taking a good brunt of that damage, but it's Pablo who does get dropped first. Chicho as well, and this is a good opportunity as Chino and Doxy are in a 2v2 situation. They're trying to close the gap, but Doxy goes down. Tayson, the 5-time champion, is going to fall as well. Now Chino's in a peculiar situation as he gets eliminated in the 1v1 against Triss.
It's a tough break there for Doxy's team, but hey, Triss, what a come up. Chicho and Tayson are both very likely going to be revived, but they gotta be very quick because still other action across the map. Veno, Vico in a very tough position, but Yuma, he's not gonna be able to escape. Veno finds the knock, finds the full elimination here, taking full advantage of that siphon, but he still has Grise up above. Veno trying to be very wary here. If he goes down, that is the end of it for game 4, and they still want to be able to strike inside that top 10 leaderboard, but Veno wrapping around underneath. Grise, even though he's overhead, Veno has the shield HP advantage. Veno still breaking through, doesn't get the shot that he wanted to, but Grise taking a huge chunk of his HP now. Coyota still seeing if he can apply a little bit of pressure on the backup section, but Veno, even in the 1 versus 2, he refuses to budge. That is Aura.
Oh, he finally gets the knock on Rise, and that was huge. That was 200 IQ coming out of Veno, because Vico was down. Coyota went down to finish off that elimination, which gave him a huge 1v1, and with a third party coming in, Alex and On and Rise have had enough, as Veno's going to be the one that cleans up that elimination. But what do you do from here? You do have a chance to get the reboot cards, but your POI has now just went to someone else.
The problem in the red alert there is that everybody knows that it's just Veno by himself. That reboot is going to be tough to make it towards, but Gabzetta, Scarpa away, already tangled up here. Snowy on the loops, trying to get the right around, but completely caught off guard. Gabzetta, nice knock, transitioning into the elimination here. Way, Scarpa, Gabzetta, they're now in the driver's seat, and Ryu, Sod, potentially heading for the hills instead. No, they're willing to clash head on. They still don't want to depart.
Was getting 4 times the point in that last game, but for Ryu and Sod, they gotta really try to figure out a way to win this fight or get the reboot card and disengage. 80 points, they're on their way up that leaderboard. For Way, Scarpa, and Gabzetta, this is almost a must. They've been landing all around the map throughout the earlier games so far. Last one, you saw them lurk up out over to Rangers' Ruin, but they just haven't really defined that success. And this is a great opportunity with a mismatch and a numbers advantage to try to pick up these 2 more eliminations. And most important, the loot and the position to build those Surge Towers.
But Way, Scarpa, Gabzetta, they're still not done with this just yet. Sod and Ryu are causing enough of a delay, and if both of these teams aren't careful, a third party could definitely enter the mix. They've got to find these quicker eliminations here. Sod, though, having a very tough time. The material count's running so incredibly low. Nobody's really had a chance to recuperate anything just yet, but Way, Scarpa, Gazetta now approaching from a separate angle. Sod completely pinpoint isolated. He can't get the backup he needs. Wei just continuing to close in here, scouting out. Okay, Zod overhead. No, it's just Ryu instead. Zod taken out. Ryu nearly out of this one, but just doing his best, and it's just not good enough when you're dealing with the full trio of Wei, Scarpa, and Gebzeta.
Yeah, with those eliminations, you see the rank upgrade drops coming in. It's not going to be the biggest difference maker, but it's definitely a good more loot than what they had before. Dystopia City, Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold, they've had enough of playing the drop spot roulettes. They knew coming into this event it was a triple contested fight, and now they're taking the fight to Tay-Tay. This one's personal as Ritual gets the first knock. There's back-to-back. Cold putting in some work as well. 2 or 3v1 situation here on the Rhino, but it's not going to last too long. They have finally woken up. Enough poking the beast because now they got what they wanted.
I mean, you're talking about poking the bear, and take a look at what Venos managed to do in some of that downtime since he found those early 3 eliminations against Koyota's team. Flixie, Vico now back up and in the running here. This is a real opportunity, Jacob, because they've got a couple of other teams that might be a little bit too prioritized with each other, a little bit too fixated elsewhere to scout these guys out inside the tunnel way.
Yeah, I was looking at the mini-map right now. I saw another team potentially rotating in this direction, but it was outside of the mountain range instead of in. So not too risky just yet as Muzz. You see just a huge chunk of HP missing along with Sphinx. And to start the game off, I did see Muzz get at least 1 knock. The drop spot for that team on the other side was just too far, giving them that advantage. And that's just kind of that early surge, and that's early confidence building for a team like that.
The real unsung hero, though, for Queasy this weekend so far, Jacob, has just been the fact that he's uncontested. If this is what an uncon Queasy can look like on a global stage, then I cannot wait to see exactly how the entirety of this weekend plays out, but don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Reasons, Alex, Anon, just taking a more slow and steady approach. Oceania has had its fair share of struggles throughout the course of today's matches, and for good reason. It's just very difficult when you are stuck in between some of these teams that are just these pre-established surge bases. It can be very hard to cut through, work around, and they're dropping so far south of the map, Jacob. They just don't have as much resources.
Yeah, definitely kind of changing things up for this game. They knew coming into this with the drop spot they had, the hardest part wasn't necessarily loot, not even materials. It was getting up and over that mountain to try to get in a good position for the game. It's Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot. You see them sneaking up, using the bush, the Flowberry Fizz, and the Crash Pad. That's Pixstorm and Demas on the other side. The revive is fresh. 2 of them are weak, and that's going to be easy pickings if they can continue to put this pressure down. Cold trying to be the first one in. Demas is the one that's getting angled out and pressured by 2 different players. Ritual is going to be there on the other side, but a surprise attack, a big shot. That's going to slow things down for only a short moment. Because Cold, he's realizing the bait and switch. My teammate is weak. I have to continue to put pressure out. It doesn't matter who it is. I have to keep these guys on their toes.
Cold and Peterbot are playing like they just see red right now. All they want to do is jump into somebody else's box that's not their own. But Peterbot, he's going to be forced to take a halt. He knows that he has to try and fight this team underneath them or just leave entirely. Demas, Darm, and Pix, they've done enough. They have pushed back, and Peterbot is pushed out of the location.
Kind of get a little bit confident there for Cold, Ritual, and Pete as they continue to kind of rotate on out. Surprisingly enough, they didn't kind of continue to stay over toward Dystopia, but what they left it, Baka, Pars, and Pump actually moved in. They're at a contested drop for themselves, north side of this actual POI, so they're just trying to get scraps. They're just trying to get any bit of surge, and right now, they spotted Cold and his entire trio rotate back toward Dystopia, and they're just trying to lurk. They're trying to get the heads-up play and an opening damage shot so that maybe they can finish it up.
Take a little peeksies, though, at what's breaking down with Kanata, Rapid, and Bolts. The elimination feed might be telling an entirely different story there, though, for what's shaping up here at Dystopia. Pump, Pars, Baka, finding that elimination onto Peterbot now means that they are all good to go for trying to key in onto Ritual and Cold. Pars already overhead, Baka right next to him, Pump, separate angle as well. There's just so many flank attempts here, but Cold, Peterbot knows that he's got to depend on his other fragger here, and Cold could come up big time.
Hey, before Peterbot went on this huge tear for the scene, it was Cold everyone was worried about. And I remember back at the Invitational 1v2 to get his teammate back into the game and try to get them that good positioning that they had. Baka, Pars, and Pump. I do like this right now. They're kind of testing the outskirts. They're not taking that big risk scenario of moving in towards these buildings. They know they're lurking around. They know with the double pump, 2v1 situation, they can easily try to catch any bit of this damage. So for Cold and Ritual, they just got to continue to play sneaky. One has a med kit. So Taco, this is not the last we've seen of them.
Yeah, but the problem still remains, Jacob. They're going to have to deal with Baka, Pars, and Pump, who are very likely, they look as if they're keen, set on setting up to prevent Cold and Ritual from actually leaving Dystopia. And if Cold and Ritual attempt to make a reboot inside of Dystopia, they are going to be immediately pounced upon by Baka, Pars, and Pump. They have so many medkits, they can afford to stick around in these early zone ticks.
And you can see in the top 5, obviously Queasy's team pulling far ahead, but only 133 points to get into the top 5. 1 point behind is going to be Yamzo, Clix, and Higgs, who've honestly been playing decently well, but they just haven't caught that stride, that momentum shift that we know a team like this can have, especially with Clix and Higgs from Xset. They're kind of the fraggers, the duo from this team. And then you got Yamzo, the IGL, the mastermind of this squad. And I think as soon as they start to feel that confidence, it's going to be a huge momentum shift.
But you know what? You got to give Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo their flowers, because most people on socials did not have them anywhere near this spot on the leaderboard. They've been holding their own as Panzer, big shot onto Mansoor. That's going to be a huge opening now, and Yapko seemingly energized by that, just following it up. Panzer with a third elimination now onto Belor. They are getting active so early on.
Yeah, 6 eliminations. They play against Tinka as his trio off spawn, and it does look like somebody tried to rotate in and potentially steal some loot, but they made them pay rather quickly. Instead, his former teammate, Cammy, Hadi, and iDrop over from that Shining Span bridge. They're trying to focus on getting as much Storm Surge as possible, which is why you see them so deep, so far into the zone. But with every team rotating on out, they're going to use that as their cue to make their rotation as well, and just kind of minimizes a little bit of the risk of the teams they will actually run into and the danger they'll face.
Checking back in now, though, with Chap, Mr. Savage, and Reason. These guys have really just been sticking to their own game plan, and a lot of that entails spending some additional time inside of those early storm takes. They know that they don't have anybody contesting them, and kind of surprised, Jacob, that no one has decided to try and actually challenge Mr. Savage's team in that northwest position, but they've done an excellent job at just creating so much space and playing their search trades where necessary.
Yeah, you see it's a whole different ball game when you are uncontested. Vanya, Pixie, Marius, they're trying to continue to find their stride just like some of these other teams in this lobby. 110 points, definitely above most of the lobby, but not where they had hoped to be at this point in time. Pings, Malibuka, and Wok, probably the same thing could be said for them, rotating from that uncontested outpost over towards Foxy Floodgates. But even though they're not in zone just yet, Taco, you're seeing they're running into so many other trios. Baka's team, Pix, Darm, and Demus as well. And even if they find a way to get to the other side, there's a 4th team on the mountain looking in this direction.
But the real problem that I'm recognizing right now, Jacob, is that you've got several of some real heavy hitter trios surrounding Foxy Floodgate, and I'm thinking about Cold, Ritual, Peterbot way back over towards Dystopia. They're going to have to eventually break through these teams who are already fixated in much better positions.
It's going to be tough on that side of the map, but taking a little bit look closer towards the center. There's a little bit more flexibility around, just a whole different game here. There are a couple teams into the mix, but you're seeing no one in relatively close danger. King Phaser, P8 Zen, they have their surge base. You see not too far off, Agers, Acorn, and Poyo. They're going to be able to get a little bit of that hive spot because you see Mustache, Queasy, and Swizzy rotating yet again to one of these bunkers. And the interesting thing about this team is because they do get the hive, because they are uncontested, and you look at the Demon's Debris and Dystopia where it doesn't necessarily spawn there, Rangers Ruin too far away. It's so early on in the game, but they're rotating all the way to the eastern side of the map to get these bunkers that they know no one else can get. And this is the 5-head type play that's coming out of Queasy, and it almost makes you wonder if he wins here to this weekend, Is he #1 in the all-time list?
Undisputed GOAT of IGLing without a singular doubt in my mind, Jacob. He's already considered one of the best, if not the best, IGL in the world based off his past couple of years with Global's performances. And it's just impeccable to think of what they've been able to accomplish here today, because sure, you can be first on the leaderboard, but to go back-to-back with victory royales, that's a different beast entirely, and it's going to be very difficult for anybody else to play catch-up. You have to remember, there were teams in this same position. Queasy was in this position. He was the one down below, but can't finish that thought just yet. Striker, Tisco holding their own here. Art, School, Salco, they need a little bit of a recovery point, a little bit pinched here at Sakura Stadium, just so far west of the map. They know it's only a matter of time before a third party makes the intervention here, but Art, School, Salco, they've got one knock. Striker, just seeing if he can try hold the wall, but he's not gonna be able to break away. Art just relentlessly chasing him down, and sure enough, it's gonna be 4 eliminations now in total for School, Salco, and Arc.
Hey, they're sticking to the game plan, but the game plan has now have a wrench into the mix. Veno, Vico, Flixie, they're making their way on over. This could be 2 of the most aggressive teams in their respective region going head-to-head, but Veno, he makes the call, maybe a little bit too close for comfort. They try to disengage just a little bit, but you see, they didn't take the full distance onto that crash pad. They have some materials they want to get back, but they want to control the pace of them and that team of Arc School and Salco.
I mean, the ball's in their court. Vico, Veno, Flixie, they're just going to continue to play for positioning. They know that Arch Trio is still locked in at Sakura Stadium, so they can afford to just kind of take those peek backs, see if they can keep applying tag pressure, but they are still trying to be wary of that team up on height on the mountainside peak. Payson, definitely a massive threat if they are not careful, but Poyo, Agers, Acorn, finally witnessing them be above that third threshold, and not just that, but 1,400 plus above, Jacob. It's got to be such a huge relief.
Yeah, to start the day, this is honestly the position I thought I would see this team in game after game after game, especially in game 3, where the zone favored over towards their drop spot. They were just unable to convert and really make it work, and you see the leaderboard with 51 points. They find themselves in 23rd place. I think you could have quizzed anybody in the Fortnite community and they thought that would have been impossible, but Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual probably in the same spot, only 77 damage above the threshold, and it looks like they're going to try to take the fight to Baka, Pars, and Puff. Remember, this is the team that initially got that knock onto Peterbot, probably causing this downward spiral of that Storm Surge being a worry, but they're taking it personal, box to box. They're ready to go in, and this is the style of fighting that we know Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual look for, but he takes another massive shot. I don't know what Pump and Baka ate today, but they are ready to play.
The problem is nobody is backing down from Ritual, Cold, or Peterbot. Baka, Pars, and Pump have them fully squeezed inside of this tiny little crevice, and if that wasn't bad enough, they're also having to deal with a third party up on the high ground. Cold, Ritual, Peterbot, they're doing everything they can to try and buy themselves a little bit more time, but they know the clock is working against them. They're only just short of 200 above that damage threshold, Jacob, but they need more, and they need builds. They don't have any materials. It's all on Cold. Peterbot is just left in tatters because of that start.
Yeah, it's just a tough situation to be in, because it's almost playing that mind game, the tricks of, hey, maybe I do have to fight. I need a refresh. I will not be able to get materials elsewhere. And with a team that's honestly been a terror to the entire NA Central region. This is kind of a surprise, and you've been saying it, nobody's backing down. Honestly, Papa Pollo said it as well. Peterbot plays mind games with all of you guys. He gets into your heads, and that's why he's so successful, but guess what? No more mind games. I think everybody is ready to fight back.
Oh, it doesn't need to be mind games, because with Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache making the approach, Peterbot, Cold, Ritual, it's now or never. They've got to either dive in, or they're going to find themselves getting absolutely pincered by several different teams. Baka, Pars, and Pump also know that same pressure could technically be applied to them if they're not careful. Seems like they might just want to break away here, create a little bit more space. They don't actually know what kind of position Peterbot and his team are in, but Baka cracking Peterbot's shields now means he could potentially try and press forward, but with Cold just steadily applying reverse pressure, he's making it very difficult, but the builds are running so low. Baka, Pars, Pump. Pars is down though. It's just Baka and Pump now left to try and recover the situation. What looked so promising at the start, Cold is trying to shut down, but Cold needs too much damage. He has to pull back. He's got to wait for Ritual and Peterbot to provide, alleviate that pressure. But Peterbot, Ritual, now looking to try and dive forward. They need more surge.
Oh no, from bad to worse. Baka and them on the other side. They not only get the reboot, but the first knock on the Cold yet again. Earlier in this game, they took down Peter, they took down Cold, and they took down Ritual, and it was on top.
Baka, Bars, and Pub have just won the hearts of the crowd here in Lyon. And not only that, Jacob, but they just continue to make it feel impossible for Gold, Peterbot, and Ritual to perform here. But Clix, Yamso, Higgs, on the other end of that note, they're still trying to see if they can leapfrog their way into that top 5 position from the leaderboard. How many times have we seen strong performances convert to a big jump in placement? But Swizzy, Merstache, Queasy, as long as they stay tried and true to their strategy, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and they got such a good spot. Not only because the high ground, but Taco, take a look. Where is the zone going? Over Foxy Floodgate. That means there's going to be so many different elevations that if it pulls all the way towards the east or even towards the north and then back down to the south, it is going to be a roller coaster of emotions. And Veno, Flixie, and Vico throughout the day has been going through just that. 269 below the damage threshold. Even with Vito hitting a nice shot, it's not going to really change what they're facing right now. And that's why you see them scrambling, looking all around, trying to get information, figure out where they need to put their focus at.
They're likely going to have to drop to ultimate low and maybe try to play a pre-edit off of a back tarp. That would maybe be their best opportunity to find some big damage. Still, other teams are absolutely feasting here, and Veno's not going to get the chance from overhead. It's a minute. This is their backyard, essentially, and Foxy Floodgate now really heating up a Vico. He's not going to allow it. You take down one of my teammates, I'm going to take you with them. Braids having to play for the revive visuals, just not going to be able to do it, though. And Flixie, Vico, this is a dynamic duo, though, Jacob. They could really make it work.
Yeah, they've kind of put an all-or-nothing situation going after the high ground. Even though they picked up eliminations, got some points, they have a max pull on the other side. And this is what I warned you about, the different type of elevations that are going to start to come into play as Vico does it again. Taking down a Minish, making sure to clean that one up. 4 more points out of the total as they get their 5th elimination of the game.
All the way hanging back now. So much pressure being applied to this top section of Foxy Floodgate. But they are right back at home. Queasy, Merstache, and Swizzy looking to control the dam, and that's the most important part of Foxy Floodgate. If you have the dam control, you have all of height.
Yep, top 17 though, this is where placement points are going to start to set in and cascade further with each and every team that does get wiped off the lobby. Merstache, Queasy, Swizzy, they are not backing down, they are not shaking, they're just terrorizing everybody around the lobby. Bars really feeling the pain there, and that's because they have that bird's eye view. Nobody is contesting Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstache on the high ground, and look exactly what's happening because of it.
There needs to be studies done on Queasy's brain because this position is absolutely unreal. Mr. Savage, Jap, trying to do what they can to push back against Swizzy's pressure, but it's just so difficult to try and take those bloom battles from overhead, Jacob. This is so much leverage over the rest of the lobby, and Swizzy now trying to make sure that he doesn't find himself eating more damage than what he bargained for, but still he has Merstache to depend on. The moment that Swizzy's shields get cracked, he falls back, and Merstache immediately picks up the slack.
It's gonna be tough because now we're going right back on over the open, and most of this next zone is just all low ground except for the far western side of it all, where there's gonna be a mountain that you can try to attach to. So you gotta make sure you planned ahead, peek through the cone, get the information. Yamso, Clix, and Higgs are doing just that. They're not the highest up, they're not the lowest either, but they're assessing the situation. Do we need to drop down further? Or do you let a team like Pigstorm and Demas get in front of you and try to land the damage? But not everybody is feeling as safe. Not everybody is feeling as comfortable. 66 damage above the threshold. Yapko, Panzer, and Seti, even though they're inside of that top 10, they still need to make that consistency count.
But do they have any Flowberry Fizz or Crash Pad? Because it's going to be difficult for them to work their way up and down this elevation. But the way that the zones are pulling here, Mr. Savage, Reason, and Chap now trying to see if they can work their way up from the underbelly of the lobby. They've got a semi-isolated layer, but they're going to be forced to drop. They don't have the materials to keep tarping through that mid-ground section. And underneath, where all the congestion is very likely to start pooling into, that's just open season now for Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache.
Savage team 2 points away from hitting that top 5. And the thing is, they were 1 point away, almost missing the Major 3 Grand Finals. They were 2 points in that last spot to secure the global spot. A miracle run is coming out as Queasy, once again, almost 2,000 damage, back-to-back games above the threshold. Yapko, fans are setting, they're feeling the pressure from up above. You see a huge lack of not only materials, but resources as well as he gets cut short. The wall breaks him off, he's gonna go down, but for Yapko and Seti, this is everything.
They're still trying to see what kind of placement points they might be able to collect. Every little bit counts for that team, but Vanya, secondary height, Cammy, Hadi, and iDrop, they've also been rather quiet throughout today, Jacob, but that could change in an instant. Mr. Savage, Reason, and Chap now trying to make sure that their back tarp is fully closed off, but Savage not having the opportunity yet to keep building through. Chap picking up where his IGL left off. That is always what you would hope for in a team. Iyamzo is sadly going to have to play it through with just Higgs, though, and this is a tough spot to be in, unless Higgs finds a big elimination for the refresh.
That was not only points for the elimination, but placement points as well, as the full trios wiped off the map. Acorn, Savage, King, Tayson, all going down. Iyamzo as well. A good shot being landed, but not good enough. He gets steamrolled.
Wow.
Marius is the one who took down Poyo. Him and Vanya are feeling the pain as well, because they have to do it without Pixie.
But they've at least got frontside low control, and that's going to have to be
Polo
enough.
just went down
They
too.
need as many eliminations as possible because they need more materials, and we haven't even started the conversation of how to deal with Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache up above. Everybody else in this lobby looking substantially healthier too.
I feel like I've seen this episode of Fortnite before. Game 2, Game 3, and it's looking like it could be possible for Game 4. 370 points.
Could they do a three-peat?
Only 2 teams in front of them, both of them weak. Vanya trying to do what he can, but he only
Can Mustache and crew do a three-peat?
full trio up above. They get the wipe onto one. They're looking to close this one out as well. Marius in his line of sight, but Swizzy, he takes a big shot. That's a surprise attack, but luckily for him, his 2 teammates have his back. Mustache gets the drop on the Marius, stays alive. They're targeting out Vanya. 3v1 situation.
Three-peat!
Back to win another game.
When have you ever seen on the global stage the trip skis of victory?
After this, they're gonna be saying Peterbot who? Peterbot who? Queasy, Mustache, Sweezy. That's who.
This is insanity what we are witnessing right now, and they deserve all of the credit. But Frankie, let me know what else they have to say.
This is incroyable, Leon! Swizzy, please stand up. Can you believe this is happening?
Yeah, I knew we were gonna win.
You knew it. You are playing like you knew it too. Queasy, you've been to so many of these events, but I don't think this has ever happened to you. Back to back to back. Surely you can't believe what's happening right now.
I mean, I can. We practice a lot. So just lucky it's paying off right now. We need to just keep playing and hopefully we'll win.
It's been really interesting to also see what's happening with the North American teams. On the analyst desk, they were talking about the fact that in North America, the top teams are conditioning the lobby all the way through the season, but that's not happening on globals. Is it simply a case of not fearing the competition, not believing their hype?
I mean, we're just playing our play style. There's like nothing, like we're not gonna play low ground if we don't know how to play low ground. So we're just staying on high and playing that, you know.
Actually, you did well for 3 games, for your team, but also for the crowd. Are you proud of that?
Yeah, I'm so proud. I'm proud of my fans. I'm proud of my teammates. Like, they're crazy.
And for you, will you keep the high ground for the next 9 games again?
I mean, the strat is take high, don't die. That's it.
Ils vont continuer comme ils peuvent, mais ils donnent beaucoup d'énergie pour vous et ils sont très fiers pour vous et aussi leur communauté et surtout leur trio. Thank you very much. It's crazy. You have another word for your crowd over there just in front of you.
I mean, I want to thank to every fan that came here watching us, and even if you're not here but watching, I want to say thanks to everyone. It's biggest support ever.
Thank you.
Leon, one more time, please show your appreciation for Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache. We're heading to a break. We'll be back with game number 5.
Remember, this is just day 1. This is just day 1. So, yeah, for all the Clix fans out there, this is just day 1. Who knows what's going to happen on day 2? But as far as day 1 goes, Mustache, Queasy, and Swizzy is just tearing it up. So, yeah. Yeah, hopefully people can catch up with them on day 2, because there is no catching them on day 1. Oh, EU's busting it today, bro. EU is absolutely busting it today. I'm really surprised with Mr. Savage and crew, bro. I mean, I knew they were going to do well, but I didn't realize they were going to be like in the top 5. I really didn't. They're doing really well, as you know.
Do you get scared? Or do you feel lost? I can smell fear. I've been there before. But you made it through the storm again. You did it on your own again. Goosebumps in your skin. Do you feel what I feel? I'm waiting on you to...
Welcome back, Fortnite fam, to the Global Championships. My name is Zeke. Joining us here on the analyst desk, we've got Mini Miner, we've got 11-2K, and man, oh man, did we just have another game won by Queasy. The 3 back to back.
Zeke, you know what's happening right now?
What's happening?
I don't think you know what's happening right now.
Tell me.
The last time Queasy played a major final and won 3 games in a row,
he won
6 out of 12.
Oh!
He went on to win the next 2 games after that. He won 5 games in a row back in Chapter 4, Season 2 when he was playing with Veno. These guys don't look like they're slowing down anytime sooner. Our EU savior. Our EU savior, Queasy. Thank you. We might finally get one. Oh my goodness.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. They're playing perfect end games right now, perfect height. Just Queasy playstyle personifies seeing them play right now. And, you know, we mentioned that 6 out of 12, right? They played a very similar style of play, that high ground. But I think they sort of they were a little bit adjusted this time. I think in that time, when they were playing for that 6 out of 12, when they won 6 out of 12, they were doing very, very well at retaking height with Bennett, right? This time, they're taking it a lot earlier. We can see it right here, just building up really high and taking it early as the 8th zone here.
one thing I really loved, right, is, you know, Frankie was asking Queasy about the timing of when they take height, and, you know, a lot of the time he's received criticism in games where maybe people perceive them to take it too early, and he said it's never too early to take height, right? I know what I'm doing, and I mean, at this point, you just have to trust the guy. My mind is blown. 3 wins back-to-back on land.
Wow.
Like, I don't think people are really clocking how insane this is right now.
This feels almost
5
like
more
a
minutes till
major
game
tournament, right?
5.
Feels like I'm going back.
2 more games
As
to
we
go,
remind
everybody.
ourselves, this is a global championship stage. These are some of the best trios from around the world, and he's making this look like it's just a normal, everyday game for him.
I mean, they're taking it early, but the way that they actually hold on to it is so good. When there's people crash panning up onto height, they don't panic. A lot of teams that are new to height, maybe don't play it so well, they will panic. They'll struggle. They won't deal with it as well, and you can see it right here. Vanya tried to take it right there at the end to try and take over the game, but they were calm. They were cool. They were collected. You even saw it in the interview there at the end. Queasy's just won 3 games out of 4 on land, and he's like, yeah, we're just going to keep trying to play our game. Like, he is so chill. I don't know how he's doing it. We saw Kanata jumping around after the first game. I like that from the IGL, though. Is what you need.
Look at the numbers here, man. Wow. Before this game, I'd be curious to see what the updated stats are, but I was looking at the numbers before this game. Swizzy was leading damage, right? He had about 6,600 damage. The next person, second place, had like 3,000. Wow. Right? So he was already leading damage by double the second place. I can only imagine now it's even more. It might be triple at this point. These guys are going crazy. They're playing the best Fortnite of their lives at the perfect time.
It's so crazy to just think about, like, how this team is looking to attack any problem that is coming up. And I gotta say, this last game, endgame, was actually kind of crazy, right? It's like M8 versus M8, and you kind of don't know who to root for in that situation. M8's just like, ah! You know? But to see Vanya make it to this end game and kind of fight it out here in the final few moments of the game, props to both sides. And still, right, maybe they didn't get the victory out, but they still play second. That's so much in terms of placement points.
Yeah, these guys are unbelievable, right? But these guys are doing a great job of staying in this competition, fighting in this competition. You know, early on, maybe a bit more quieter, but they're starting to show us their prowess. I think the great thing about them as well is that we've seen them at times this year struggle when they try to go for height and it doesn't work out for them. In this game, you know, they tried to take it, didn't work out, but they still make a good game out of it.
Yeah, and that's absolutely crucial. It's Marius, it's the fraggers that are doing a very good job. Of course, Pixie went down a little bit earlier here, so Vanya had to do a really good job, but I'm really impressed with how Marius is handling the pressure right here. Of course, there's been a lot of eyes on him over the last couple of years. Is he this sort of big fragger that everyone knows him for? Yes, proving it on the big stage, and it's, of course, a big moment for him being on LAN as well. So lots of questions going into this. They're answering it so far. The problem is, Queasy's just doing so well that they're struggling to catch up, but it's a really nice game, so they're moving up in the stand.
Let's take a little peek at the second page, though, right? Let's just kind of roll things down. How are things looking, right? We see Agers, Hoyo, and Acorn. What's crazy is I kind of didn't expect to see them this high up in the leaderboard, right? They're kind of lurking in the shadows. We haven't quite seen them have the game we're like used to seeing on NA, but we still have 2 more games left to go on the day, so maybe they can piece something together.
A good time to try get some momentum. I feel like at competitions like these, when you start slow, you almost are out of sight, out of mind, right? These guys now, if they can sort of creep their way back in towards that sort of top 8 range going into tomorrow, they're still going to be, maybe not a good shot for contention if Queasy keeps playing like this, but they're still going to end up, you know, put themselves in a position to end up way up there in the leaderboard by the end of game 12.
Yeah, and they have the firepower, right? We talked so much about their drop spot at the beginning of the show, how powerful that really is. Of course, the team as a whole, the way that they can play, we know how well they can play end games as well. So all it takes is just 1 or 2 things to go their way. We all know about how good Hoyo is when it comes to those end game clutch situations as well. And I think maybe a little bit of the pressure aspect was coming into it, you know, walking out in front of this massive crowd, chanting your names. It can be difficult and it can be really, really tough to adjust.
And I'm telling you, man, well, we'll save that for later. You heard that bus horn. It is time to get back into game with only 2 games left to go. How do we position ourselves for day number 2? It is time for game number 5 on the day right now.
Only 2 games left on the day. You heard Zeke say it himself. And that just means time flies when you're having fun. One of the best events I've ever been a part of in person. And honestly, it hasn't disappointed so far. Queasy just lighting things up, back-to-back-to-back wins. And And honestly, these contested fights have been telling a lot of how the game goes.
And we're finally going to get a taste, too, of some different scenes here at Kappa Kappa Factory. Seti, Panzer, Yapko, they've been putting on quite the performance today, Jacob, but it starts with this off-spawn battle. If Panzer, Seti, and Yapko can convert another successful off-spawn here, Kazi and Aspect, Tinka, they could be in a world of trouble, but it's Martius, it's Peterbot, both of them are not, but Pixie, he's got the better end of this deal. Vanya still lurking overhead, Cole trying to see if he can recover anything from this situation, but it's not gonna come to fruition just yet. In fact, Pixie, he's gonna even be able to play for the revive. Vanya Boo Boo not willing to chase down Cole just yet, but maybe after using some of these small shield potions, to feel a little bit more comfortable with that battle.
Insane scenes hit us yet again in Game 5.
Today is not Pete's day.
Tough spot, but I see it in the feed. Was that Paper? Was that Victor V? Was that Epic Whale? All going down at Dystopia. Meanwhile, Vanya, Marius, and Pixie, they have literally no time. They can do whatever they want. They have the reboot card, one on one side of the mountain, Peter's on the other side of the mountain, and they haven't even looted up their POI, which means they're going to spend so much time at the OXR HQ, which means it's going to take a risk in order to get Peterbot and Ritual back in the game.
Something that also occurred quite quickly here. Seti, 3 eliminations, by the way. We didn't get to see exactly where it happened, but we know that they've been having a lot of success here at the Kappa Kappa Factory, and there's more trouble still stewing. A look back into Rangers Ruin. We know so much about this off-spawn battle, and Chino opening up big time, but Chicho thought he was going to be able to 180 that occurrence. Still, Tayson from behind manages to knock Chino, but this is just messy right now. Still, the big day holding it down. Pablo, though, still trying to see if he can punch his ticket in this lobby, and he holds it for his team.
A big win in that 1v1 against Tayson, but the team that has been putting on a show since Game 2, in Game 3, and in that last one as well, back-to-back wins, and you can see their first team to win 3 consecutive games at an FNCS LAN, and that's putting them so far ahead of everybody else. So even if they find themselves in a position where they're not winning the game, still top 8, top 5, that's still going to keep their lead intact.
But the conversation that I have to open up here, Jacob, is when we think about last year's Global Championship even, Queasy and Thomas HD were in this exact position as everybody else in the lobby. They were staring at that leaderboard. They were staring at Peterbot and Pollo running away with it. And then day 2 came to play. And Queasy manifested a huge performance to play so much catch-up. So while it might look very, I don't say impossible, but unlikely, I still think that there's opportunity for somebody else to try and play catch-up. But day 1 definitely seems like the momentum is riding high for Queasy's team.
Everybody else below Queasy on that leaderboard just has to keep it respectably close and regroup for tomorrow. Chino, Pablo, Prodoxy, even though they win that fight, one team has already moved over, and you can see in the minimap another team, King Phaser and PH Sin, they're trying to make their presence known. Madim Buriuriru and Wixie are there as well. These are our 3 teams from 3 different regions trying to lurk and make Rangers ruin their home. As Wixie's gonna get to 3, 2, 1, and he instantly goes down. Brazil strikes quick.
0 chance to even try and close that wall lock. And that is a painful way to go out, but King Phaser fully on the come up here. Gino, Prodoxy, Pablo, they can hear those shots nearby. They know that there is another party rolling into the vicinity. Still, they're locked down. Mirim, Buiriru, 2s in a sea of 3s, and this is not the spot to be, but they don't really have a chance to get out just yet. They need Gino, Prodoxy, and Pablo to fight against Phaser, King, and PH Sin to see if they can maybe slip away.
So the Queen just going ahead and blasting onto some of these boxes. Cena giving away the position just a little bit. King, Phaser, they know they're there on the other side, but they don't know exactly where they're located at, which means PHN is just trying to get some high ground, some elevation, that eagle eye view so we can look over the land and figure out where everybody's at, taking their time. And these are the type of fights right here with people lurking around, crouching to hide those audio visuals. If you make the wrong play, it's a huge risk for that little reward.
But the material just favors so heavily into Brazil's hands. Chino, Pablo, and Frodoxy, because of that early off-spawn battle with Tayson, they haven't actually had a chance to really farm anything up in comparison to King Phaser and PHN, who are just now stealing away this queen currently at Rangers Ruin. Frodoxy realizing we can't just let this go for free. They try to see if they can intervene, but it's just not an option that's afforded to them just yet because Marin Huiriru still lurking nearby. It's not a favorable option, and they know it's likely best to potentially disengage.
Yeah, and you can see it because they have control of the high ground and the whole outside. They're starting to target down that queen. As you see in the feed, the cleanup is complete. Cold goes down, and another 0-point game for what was looking like the most dominant team coming into this event. A huge wake-up call as they're in 30th place, but for Vanya, Pixie, and Marius, that's just one step closer to that first place spot.
For Vanya, Pixie, and Marius, they don't want to lose sight of the primary objective, and that is just to keep securing the strong end game placements. Every little bit counts if you're looking to try and play catch up to Queasy at this point. And Chap, Frieza, Mr. Savage, another team where there's been so much praise on Chap's shoulders, and for good reason. You could even argue that if it weren't for Chap, Mr. Savage and Reason might not even be at the Global Championship right now. But the Major 3 performance, that's something that we're still waiting for Chap to just have that highlight game.
That's a really good point because Mr. Savage was done. Mr. Savage said, I retired. It was great playing Fortnite, but I think it's time for the next step in his journey. Well, the next step was coming out of retirement, qualifying by such mere points. It was destined to happen to see him here and playing as extraordinarily well as they have been so far. Malibuca walks and pings. You can see them set up just outside the Outpost Enclave, just trying to trade off shots into the distance. And against Pollo, Agers, and Acorn. And honestly, I think this was the difference maker. We saw both of these teams perform slightly, whether one more than others, but I think it's because of exactly this. They're now trading off shots for Storm Surge versus the rest of the lobby, and it's given them a little bit more flexibility in different cases.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Vico, though. Parades, where are you at? This is the wrong neighborhood. And Benno, Vico, Flixie, now with 3 eliminations in total, Jacob. This is much more room to work with than what they've been afforded, and especially considering that Coyota eliminated Benno very early on, but still, Vico, Flixie cover the situation, and now look what Benno's able to accomplish. A Minish, clean wipeout there by Benno.
I think Benno needs to keep playing like he has a chip on his shoulder, almost something to prove. The contested drop is not going to be easy for anybody, but if you can find a way, come out and have games like this and really make them count, like we kind of saw between Tayson and Frodoxy to start the day in games 1 and 2. Just got to be able to keep that momentum up. Phaser, King, PHN rotating around. I thought I saw, yes, I was about to say, I thought I saw somebody moving on over towards that bunker, and it is going to be our team from Brazil, King, Phaser, and PHN. That means that play they made to rotate on over to Rangers Ruin, not only third party and get the eliminations, but eventually take down the Queen, works out perfectly.
Every single Globals, there's always that one surprise pop-out wild card from the international scene, and I think, at least for day 1, King, Phaser, and PHN have definitely taken that position in representing what these teams from the global presence are able to provide. And this is looking like a very sound setup. They've done a great job at essentially infiltrating that Rangers Ruin third-party action. And it's caused such a dominoes effect across the map. It changes so much of how the game is played when Frodoxy, Pablo, and Chino aren't able to just conveniently take their third-party options and all those surprise pop-up performances, finding those eliminations, intercepting teams on their loop path rotates.
I like this play me out. Curly, Reed, and Cooper, they haven't had the best luck finding teams to trade shots off with to the distance, and now they have to do something different, go box to box, play a little bit more aggressive. Curly's doing just that, Forced saw it out, but they trade shots. Luckily for him, his teammates are there to save the day. Curly gets the elimination. Siphon is what he needed most in that moment, and now they get the loot. You see the extra splashes and that full load up that they're kind of able to change things in and out. And it's a confidence boost for a team that honestly, listening to them talk yesterday, they didn't think they had their game plan anymore from what they practiced coming into the Global Championship. They had to pull something up from underneath their sleeve, and, well, that's one way to do it.
Not the only magician working in this lobby. Veno just a little bit of a heist here onto Hero. Tries to take that launch pad instead of punish for it, and Vico following up. This is exactly why you don't want to give Veno any space, because the way that they're trying to control that mountain rage now, it's forcing teams to funnel through in a way that makes it so easy for them to find those knocks and eliminations, or just surge in general.
Yeah, or at least the bare minimum, get them to waste a lot of materials rotating on over into a spot where you might not be able to get much. Pixstar Demus, you see kind of a smooth rotation. Not too many players near them yet in the distance either, so they can focus on one thing and one thing only, getting to where they need to be. As we take a look at Rapid, Kanata, and Bolts, they started the day off with a big win. I think it was around like 101, maybe 104 points. Since then, it's been anything but perfect, but this is the real test, especially for somebody like Kanata, where I was talking about how different he looked coming into this event. Now we get to see what are you truly made of.
But they're still within striking range, a top 3 within day 3. They haven't had, you know, the craziest day ever after, especially after what we witnessed in game 1. We're definitely maybe looking for Kanata, Rapid Bolts to keep seeing how consistent they could be, but until they find a way to replicate that game 1 performance, things are going to continue to get more and more difficult as everybody starts to find a better grasp, a better idea of where they want to go to try and find any little bit of placement points to put them inside of a better position for day 1 closure.
Again, I talked about Acorn, Poyo A, just going back to what has worked best coming into the Global Championship. That's kind of setting up one of those bases. You have an abundance of heals at the Demon's Debris. You just got to figure out a way to utilize them. It's like Clix, Higgs, and Iamzo rotating south from Supernova Academy. They were one of those teams kind of looking off into the distance, whether if it was Savage, we saw moments there, Sod and Ryu up towards the top. They have multiple targets that they try to use early game to build that Storm Surge and kind of give flexibility for rotations just like this.
I think it was very smart, though, the way they were utilizing that natural map terrain, hugging towards that lower territory so they don't get spotted out from those teams that are in those high ground positions. They're just fully covered by those cliff faces, but looking into what our leading contenders are getting up to, Mustache, 0 shotgun damage. And my favorite part about this morning, Jacob happened to encounter Queasy, and he made it known, we're not going to carry shotguns. We are running ARs, we are running the Wrecker revolvers, and you know what? With what they're doing, with the way that they're playing height, they're not giving anybody the luxury or the option to even try and challenge them on height. They don't have to do anything up close and personal, because if it does come down to that, they still got those Wrecker revolvers to work with, which is basically just a pistol shotgun in the first place.
How do you win back-to-back games with 0 shotgun damage? I am blown away, but that's a testament of how good they are actually playing, and the consistency is out of this world. They jump on over Kadu, Striker, and Tisco. They were so close. They had the high ground in some of our previous games, but now they need to fight out of this mess. For Doxy, Pablo, and Chino, they're the ones on the other side. They're the ones that are putting down that pressure and not really backing down. You see the triple weapon loadout for multiple of these players as well. They're ready to fight, and they're ready to fight big.
But Chino and Pablo, they're really looking like they're starting to find their rhythm in this lobby. They love just getting so fraggy with it. It's going to be a little bit of a hold, though, by Striker, Kadu, and Tisco, while Ferdoxy takes this opportunity to heal back up. A little bit too pinched there, but Chino, he just keeps battering away at Kadu, Striker, and Tisco, and that knock now means a separate approach. Ferdoxy on the flank, Chino and Pablo on the front side, and Striker doing what he can to try and hold things down, but the walls are just so difficult to break through. He's hoping to find some form of an edit, some kind of right side peek. Striker, though, no shield. Pablo, Chino, Ferdoxy, they are fully in control of this. That is until Pablo realizes it's Curly, it's Cooper, it's Reed right behind them. He doesn't have any options. They've just got to reconvene with each other.
For Reed, Cooper, and Curly, there's no time like the present, and they're really trying to make these little seconds count. able to clean up that one elimination, the extra loot, but most importantly, the Storm Surge that they're able to get. And since they're the team on the outside of this overall battle, they have the option if they want to disengage or keep putting pressure in this scenario. For Doxy and Chino, they have no other choice with or without that reboot card to try to get out and save what they have of this game. We kept talking about between them and Tayson off spawn, battling it out. You have to make sure if you win these games off spawn, you go as far into the end game with as many eliminations as possible.
For Doxy and Chino, that maneuver by Curly and Cooper, it's like getting an eyelash stuck in your eye. Just so annoying, but what can you do? Just the nature of the game here. All the while, Clix, Higgs, Yamso, they've caught up now to Snowy, Saad, and Ryu, and they've got them on the ropes right now, but Ryu's still looking to fight back. All of these international teams, they have not backed down even once throughout today's matches, Jacob, and they are coming with some big firepower. But Yamso, the future, he's got to control the present right now, though. And with Clix and Higgs right next to him, they need to find these eliminations. All of the surge would just be so impactful.
Yeah, you can see both of these teams in a relatively tough spot, forced to crouch down if they're on the low ground. But Saad, Ryu, Snowy, they're trying to go for a lurk surprise attack. They're getting into the box in 2 different directions, but the third party is in, and they run out of material. Saad is in a tough spot, and it's going to continue to get tougher. Multiple players on that trio are out of materials overall, and Yamso finally dropping down. He's bringing the sun to a snowy day.
That's exactly what they needed. This is so much room to work with now. The Yamso Clix, they just continue to close in, and finally Ryu's gonna be eliminated, folded over. Almost 1900 damage above on that surge threshold, Jacob. Perfect placement for these guys to be now. Can they convert it to the end game win that they've been seeking all day long?
Yeah, and you can see just like that with those eliminations, they move up into a top 5 spot on the leaderboard. One more elimination away from top 4. One more elimination away from that, from a top 3 at the Global Championship. This is only game number 5, though. There's going to be 7 more games. 1 more today, 6 more tomorrow before we crown our best in the world at the Fortnite Global Championship. And this could be one of them. Savage, Chap, and Reason. I was talking about Destiny. We just got to figure out if it's theirs.
And Mr. Savage, a couple of medkits to boot. Chap, Reason. They've also got the geysers just in case they need that quick stimmy of HP 30 shot. But Yuma, Grise, Koyota, a little bit of a hiccup at the starting point. Still managing to try and make it work. But Jacob, all of these teams, there's like a certain level of paranoia that starts to enter the closer and closer that everyone becomes, especially because we just know the high ground is where nobody has been able to really look towards. And yet, one more time, we're seeing a zone pull right towards Foxy Floodgate. And I almost have to, I just want to know, where is Queasy at? Because he's got to be close by.
If I'm any person in this lobby, but Queasy, of course, I'm saying please pull north. Get away from these mountain ranges. Get away from that dip in Foxy Floodgate. And if you're a team that's realizing what's happening in this game, a very, very similar zone towards last game, you got to start to look at your materials. Do we have enough? If not, how are we going to get it? Some would say maybe a refresh, farming where you can if you're on the slow side of zone, but sometimes things like that aren't always possible. And you can see Pixdar and Demas in that exact situation. Even though they're 356 above the damage threshold, you're seeing the side that they have to rotate in, Taco, stacked like pancakes.
It's just so impressive to think that this is a team, this is their first LAN, and they're not playing anything like it. But Mr. Savage, Chap, they've now got to see if they can pull together here. Reason with a double revive, they bring him back up into the mix, but they still have such an uphill battle to tackle here because they're so far behind. And look at all these teams that are piled into the zone just in front of them. That edge is going to be tough to break into.
Yeah, and that's why you see Sphinx and them trying to be the trolls underneath the bridge, a little bit of a safer rotation. Talk about natural elements to try to use and crowd some of these shots. At 488, drastically below. Almost need 3 straight eliminations. Savage is looking, but he's finding nothing but the lobby. Back they go, and a huge boost right there for Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx because they are relatively high up above, but it's the loot. You can see half of the fizz gone, half of the splash is gone, so that was a must.
I think the bigger relief, though, for Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx is that they know with Mr. Savage's team having been wiped, there's nobody behind them. So now they can push forward and just control that more uncontested area of the zone. Still need to be wary though. Are catching glimpses of Kanata, Bolt, and Rapid in the distance. And of course, Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstache steadily starting to scale their way up towards an elevated position, but there's several other teams nearby that have the same intentions.
Yeah, if you guys see multiple teams in the distance, you got Thunderbolt striking down, that Storm Surge, even though Swizzy, Queasy, Merstache don't exactly know those teams are below it, they will hear the shields crack. King's gonna go down, but Poyo is the one that's potentially stealing away those points. And maybe even the loot as it fully gets cleaned up. Swizzy, Queasy, Merstache put the full target down on a PH-Sin. He's just trying to get some of that loot from his fallen comrade.
Do Swizzy and Merstache ever miss?
No.
The answer's gonna be no. Okay,
No.
PH-Sin eliminated. Merstache with another one. But that's actually gonna be the first one of this lobby. They've just been collecting so many eliminations throughout today's lobbies, Jacob. It's almost crazy to think that that's their first, but Queasy could be in trouble. Does manage to break away from where Bolt, Rapid, and Kanata are at, but Kanata, you know that he's scheming inside of this middle section. He wants to maybe try and set up for a free-hit on their back target, but they know there's another team directly underneath them. And it's gonna be School and Southgo caught off guard. They're not gonna be able to make that transition. Art still trying to press forward, but he's stuck in the corner. Art trying to fight back, but there's nowhere left to run, and Bolt finds that elimination.
That is a lightning strike if I've ever seen one myself. Bolt taking down all 3 players of the NA West Major 2 champions, Arksville and Salco. And the thing about Arksville and Salco, I saw it for just a quick moment, they were below the damage threshold as well. So their aggression, even though they are picking up eliminations, isn't working out as good as they hoped.
But it's still a damper for Kanata and Bolt. Bolt's now losing all of his shields. Still, he'll have the opportunity to recover that, but it's the loss of Rapid that's really going to start impacting where Bolt and Kanata might end up here. Fortunately for them, Zone pulling a little bit away from those mountain faces, so as a duo they can still look to break through the low ground, but Queasy, Merstache, Swizzy, Gentlemage going absolutely ballistic in this audience right now, and for good reason. Merstache said it, we're just gonna keep winning, and they've got 3 already at the international level, Jacob. A land historic event, and they're still looking to see if they can get more.
We are literally watching the Queasy legacy in the making. Levin said it himself. The last time Queasy won 3 games in a row, he went on not only to win that major, but win 6 out of 12 games. Something that has never been done on that region of EU ever before and ever again. And this could be that moment in history that you look back at when you talk about how great Queasy actually is. It is all because of this, but there's still so many threats in their path. They just have to look up. They have to try to go for high ground and stop the plate trade. Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo, they have been known to do it on NA Central. They just have to figure out how to do it here on the international stage.
And they might have to deal with Pars, Baka, and Pump along the way. Yapko, Seti, Panzer, they've also done a rather excellent job at just maintaining consistent performances, and they're looking for yet another repeat here, trying to clear some space in that secondary height, but they know if they want their odds to turn this into a victory royale, they're gonna need more than just secondary height. Pump falls to Clix. This is big time for Xset because they need to pop off here.
Yeah, they truly are looking elite as a trio and taking the front side of the zone, something Yamzo knows to do best, but they have to be careful. Marius, Vanya, and Pixie, they're bouncing around with those crash pads, instantly climbing up that mountain, and that just means better positioning right away, and that gives them that luxury to look back, see all these other players rotate through. He's peeking through the stair. He sees Acorn, Agers, and Poyo, but it's not ready to go for it just yet, and nobody has even had an opportunity to look up. They're attached at the backside of zone. They're attached right in the middle. It's not even going to be easy when somebody eventually does.
But that's the problem. Nobody else can actually make their way up towards the high ground because Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstache refuse to budge. They just keep shutting down every single opportunity, forcing these teams to converge onto each other as iDrop now trying to see if he can collect an elimination there, a knock, anything. He needs a massive refresh here, but it's Pixie who finds Hottie, Marius, Pixie, and Vanya now looking to see what more they can seek out.
4 eliminations so far into the top 12. Placement points are flying in. Half of them at least at the top 8 is Veno, Vico. They're in that line of path. Marius looking up for only a quick second. Not really focusing on Queasy up above. It's probably too hard. You see the materials being drained right out of their inventory. Everybody else feeling the same thing, forcing Yamzo, Higgs, and Clicks to drop down low. The blessing is they're in the front side of zone, so they have a little bit more to work with.
But the control from Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache on the high ground, Jacob, they're forcing all of these teams to swap layers to ultimate low. And with that in mind, Mustache, Queasy, Swizzy, just non-stop berating. These teams are forced. They're looking up, they're looking down. They're trying to find refreshes, but they have no breathing room. They are being suffocated right now by height.
With the conversations going on before the Global Championship, Fu probably smiling ear to ear right now with EU doing the performance that they are, but Kanata Bolts, they're trying to channel how they played in game number 1, finds a key elimination on the Reed, not just elimination points, but placements as well. Cammy falls, more points from the lobby. Swizzy's trying to drop down low, he's just getting loot, he's bringing it back up to his IGL.
And that is all Swizzy has to keep tabs on alongside Mustache. Everything getting dropped at Queasy's feet so he can have the ultimate success here. But Marius, he's in too much trouble. Marius trying to squeeze away. It's Vico, it's Veno, and Flixie chasing them down. They know that they're going to have to clear out all of these players inside of these lower layers if they want a real shot at beating Queasy up on height.
Yeah, if there's any team that I think has a chance to look up and at least give them a fight, it is going to be them, as Marius is forced outside of the zone, almost a 1v1 against Clicks, and Clicks gets the knock. Can he get the elimination? No, he can't. No siphon for him, but the battle, the inevitability is finally here. Vico's taking charge, but he's also taking most of that damage. Flixie's forced to reload, and Veno is in that mid-cut as well, a challenge that they did not find success on, but relatively so. Even if they might not have the high ground, they put Queasy and Mustache on the back foot.
And that's the problem, Queasy, Mustache. They could still tank a little bit of zone here just because of that exotic fizz, but at the same time, Vico, Veno, Flixie, they're now trying to remind everybody this might be it's Queasy's tourney so far, but we still want to take the Mustache! Mustache finding the biggest elimination of the Veno, the siphon carrying him forward. The hopes of Gentleman now resting on his shoulders. Flixie trying to hang, but Flixie wins it all, shutting down.
Oh wow, they took second though. They took second.
We talked about the 6 of 12. It was with that man right there, Veno, with Vico and Flixie by his side. They are looking like a terror on the lobby. Frankie, we gotta hear what from them by themselves.
We need to hear what you have to say, Flixie. What's it like getting a victory?
That was amazing. That was an amazing game.
Great. I mean, we died off spawn, we clutched the game. It's really good.
Yeah, you clutched the game. I mean, it was quite the competition between you and the leaders of the lobby. Were you aware it was Queasy you were up against?
I mean, we knew it was Queasy, but we're just better than them, so we just went up and killed them.
I think you might need to get a few more victory royales before you can say that. I do want to come to you, Veno, obviously up against an ex-teammate you know really well. Does that make it a bit more satisfying or even a little bit more in your head? You know each other so well.
Nah, if I can't win this tourney, I want Queasy to win.
Oh, I've never heard him say such nice things. Thank you, Veno. And of course, Choco, à toi pour Vico.
How do you feel after this first victory royal, and how will you do the second one?
Hey, I mean, I feel great, you know. We finally got a win that we wanted, you know. We're still calm though, but it's kind of hard. But hey, I mean, we're doing the best of it. Next round, you know, we're gonna win our spawn. We're gonna win the game again, you know. We're gonna catch up to Queasy finally and shit. So yeah.
Ils sont très déterminés à remonter dans ce classement et à continuer de monter. Ils adorent et surtout ils sont très confiants pour aller chercher une deuxième victoire.
Are you expecting to still be contested at Canyon Crossing?
I mean, we were expecting it because they were laying down Asia, but I think there's no point for them to contest because, I don't know, even if they're winning, they're not getting good games, so...
Well, we will see after this short break.
All right, looks like we got us a short break going on here, and hopefully it won't be too long. Yeah, 3 minutes. So guys, go use the bathroom, come back, in about 3 minutes, and the games should be resuming. Last game of the day, Game 6 coming up. Don't leave now. The best is yet to come.
Trio and my eyes are red. 1, 2, 3 of us can't compete with us. Everybody screaming like they did and believe in us. Believe in us, believe in us, believe in us. 2 hits on a wait list. I was armed and dangerous. Take a shot, leave them faceless. I was armed and dangerous. On a whole different level. I can see why they hate. I was armed and dangerous. I was armed and dangerous. You should have noticed. I've been focused. You should have known I've been loaded. You should have noticed. I've been focused. You should have known I've been loaded. Do you get scared? Or do you feel lost? I can smell fear. I've been there before. But you made it through the storm again. You did it on your own again. Goosebumps in your skin. Do you feel what I feel?
Welcome back, Fortnite fans, to the Global Championship. What could have ended in a crazy way results in Vico Veno Flixie finding themselves a victory royale in game number 5. EU is truly on top right now. My gosh, I love the responses as well from the trio. Keeping it humble, keeping it honest. But for them, you know, especially now with 1 game to go, this is such a great way to go into that final game and kind of start setting up for day number 2.
Such perfect timing for these guys, right? Coming into the last game right now, winning game number 5. And in the manner at which they did it, Levin, it's very similar to what we've seen throughout this entire season, an entire sort of year from these guys. The way they play height, the way they try and retake it. Queasy did make it a little bit difficult for them. It wasn't absolutely straightforward, so they had to drop down. But, I mean, this is exactly what we expected from these guys this weekend. They've finally awoken.
I'm going to throw some shade to my brother Zeke.
No.
I'm sorry I have to do it to you, Zeke.
Don't do it.
Oh, no.
Zone 11, we're watching Flixie. He looks up to height. He's looking up. He's scouting it. Zeke goes, yeah, man, don't even bother looking at high, bro. Don't even bother looking at high.
Oh.
But again, we can't blame Zeke, right? He's been on NA for a year, right? Us EU watchers know when it's Flixie, Veno, Vico, a late height take. Zone 11 height takes, it's their specialty. Again, like you said, not executed as cleanly, but executed like they know well. And a really big game.
Queasy and them is leading by over 100 points. That is
like they were
crazy.
alluding to after going down on spawn in the previous game.
Yeah. Listen, I just wanted Queasy to win again. Okay, I wanted to see 6 in a row on land. Forgive me, Levin. I joined the EU crew. You know what? Maybe EU isn't on top. Going back to NA where I belong. Obviously, you know, still on the other side of that,
of course.
Easy, like if they had won that game, it would have been insane. The fact that they placed second, though, is still amazing, right? Like, you cannot deny. But of course, if they had won the game, it just would have been just the tiniest bit better. My gosh, Queasy, Murstache, Swizzy popping off here. 461 points, if I remember correctly. These guys are on fire, Mini.
Yeah.
I don't know how we stop them.
I mean, honestly, they were set up for success this entire end game. They really did well to claim that high ground like we expected them to do, going towards the zone. They had a nice favorable pull, of course, over to that hill. And then when Queasy actually built out into the zone, which I thought was a really nice play, if zone was to pull over that hill, it ended up pulling the other way. So they did, of course, have to invest a lot of materials, which is why they ended up going down a little bit earlier here. But, I mean, what a clutch here from Murstache. What could have been, Levin?
I mean, look, I low-key do wish we were in the alternate universe where he wins that. Because there is one, right?
Yeah.
He's so close. It comes down to just the difference between a little bit of damage. Regardless of that, though, right? Still a fantastic game to help them keep their lead, keep momentum, right? Because the worst thing you can have in a situation like this, and, you know, speaking of Queasy when he won 6 out of 12, it almost sort of did happen where after they had won, like, the 6th game, you know, they're almost like, everything's won. We've won it, you know, they have a bit of a mediocre game, and, like, the momentum's lost, but it's fine. We've won the tournament. These guys haven't won the tournament yet. They need to keep that momentum. That's still a great game.
That's right, man. One game left to go before we say goodbye for the first half of the day of the competition. You heard that sound. The battle bus is ready. Let's get into it.
One last ride on the battle bus to score things out for day one here of the FNCS 2025 Global Championship. And Leon has been absolutely electric through all of it. Massive shout outs and love to the fans here in the crowd. But firstly, Jacob, we have to tackle the elephant in the room. It's what's been taking place between Frodoxy and Tayson since we last peeked in over at Kappa Kappa Factory in the previous lobby, but now we're back at home.
I was about to laugh to myself. You're talking about Frodoxy and Tayson. But what about the 50 other teams that end up over at Rangers?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming in and watching the FNCS with me. Thank you guys so much. Thank you again for the 9 likes as well. You guys are amazing.
It's going to work out perfectly. Chicho goes down. Tayson follows next. That's back-to-back eliminations, but Chino's going to go down. That's going to give them an opportunity back. And if you notice, Frodoxy has no more ammo in his shotgun, and Riz is trying to take advantage of that fact. He finally picks up a few, but the damage has already been done. Riz with only 3 HP, and Pablo and Frodoxy on the other side are at least a duo, a strong duo at that. And they have a chance here to end the fight, and they do so with ease.
I want to believe, but when Pablo is just that healthy, the outcome is basically inevitable. Frodoxy, Chino, and Pablo Wingo will play out the duration of Lobby 6, and this time it was so fast that Brazil likely won't be able to stroll on over and try to play spoiler.
I mean, I did see in the feed, there was a team that was going in that direction. They saw the fight end in the feed. They said, you know what, maybe next game, maybe tomorrow we'll do this.
Let me hit the other way.
Yeah, but you see what's going down here right now. They actually chose to split the drop. Toyota, Yuma, and Raisei are going to take the top side of Canyon. That comes with the Swarm. That comes with a little bit of XP. But Vico, Flixie, and Veno, they're taking actual Canyons Crossing. There's a little bit more loot over here for them. And they said, hey, things haven't been going our way in the actual fight. Let's actually try to play some of these games out. And even last game, they did that exact thing, and it worked out. You saw them win that game.
There's still a leaderboard that teams want to play for prizing, Jacob. Even if it might not necessarily be a threat to first, or even the top 3 in general, it's still opportunity for life-changing money, right? And Epic Whale, Paper, Victor V, they're looking to tackle Razzle, Tate, and Raito. They had primary control of Dystopia City. They have pushed Raito's team towards the edge, but Epic Whale still needs to try and connect another shot here. He knows that Paper is gonna have that overhead sightseeing, and Razzle, not a whole lot of materials, but Paper just trying to stay on top of this fire, just trying to see if he can apply more pressure for Victor V to capitalize on.
Yeah, my eyes initially peeked at Shining Span where Cammy lands. I saw them, but now you saw Ritual in the distance as Vox, Ping, and Malapuka. They're taking the fight on over. That's Aspect's team, and Aspect was the one that was landing towards the Kappa Kappa factory. So you're already seeing they're changing up their game plan. They're trying to steal away some loot away from Malabuka and Wox, but that's not something you want to do at all.
And Malabuka, Wox being more than happy to try and collect whatever opportunities come their way. They're willing to try and generate these occurrences themselves, and they are just chasing these teams way out to the outskirts. This is a big commitment, but if they find the eliminations, it's all worth it.
I like what they're doing here. They're just trying to trust in each other for the most part. One's going to go on over, try to see if they can find him, which it doesn't look like they do. They immediately turn back. It's not worth it in their heads to go for it as Beaterbot finally makes his position known along with Ritual and Cold, and they immediately jump onto Paper. He was positioned on top of that with his building, tagging that team down below, was not watching his back, and that's exactly what's going to do him in the end. You see Victor V looking like the only player left alive for his team. He's just trying to disengage and at least try to give him a chance to get back on up.
But it's the fact that Victor V is still left standing. Bit tragic that Paper Epic Whale, they just never saw it coming. The Crash Pad Fizz combination a little bit too potent here, and Paper punished for that overhead position and not keeping tabs of what's flying through the sky after him.
Honestly, depending on where the zone goes, it's going to help their chances or hurt them for Victor V, trying to get his entire team back into the game. We kind of saw more and more teams throughout the day kind of move over into this position, and that's going to remain the same. One all the way towards the north. Tisco and his trio literally inside of Ranger's Ruin as well, but they're positioned above. And then Ferdoxy, who obviously knows where that team's at, where they're positioned, and he's at least trying to shoot off shots in their direction with that Stinger SMG, so he knows it's not going to get a ton of damage, but anything's better than nothing.
And Ferdoxy, Pablo, and Gina have just been playing whack-a-mole all day long. It's like the moment they take out one team, they still got to deal with another one popping up from seemingly nowhere, and Pablo still working through the lobby. Brice and Coyota going to be victims at the other end of that shotgun barrel, but Yuma still trying to do what he can to pick up the pieces here. It was a nice knock onto Gino. Unfortunately, the 1 versus 2 situation, that's just so hard to convert into a victory there. So they're going to be put down temporarily, but things are getting messy here in the south side.
Yeah, this is not where I expect Veno and Vico and Flixie to kind of end up, going all the way towards the south side of the map. That's given Alex and Resigns an opportunity to get the early surge, steal away some of this loot. And you can see what Veno, he has really no other choice. He knows the full team is all around, and a third party closed off into the distance. Even with 69 HP, he does have some extra shields, but he doesn't want to give away his position with those audio visuals. Alex finally found him out, and the full team is wiped off from Victory Royale.
There goes last game's winners.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter where Veno tries to go after that. Alex Resigns and Anon, we're never going to let them leave this vicinity. It's just way too primed up of a chance, and they're not going to
Australian
come by
team,
often,
Team
but
Power.
Still, Alex
They're doing
Resigns
really
got
well.
to keep open eyes on the map, because Mixon and Focus, they might just have a chance to shut down everything that Alex just worked to accomplish. But Alex spots him out through the window, and Alex not going to be able to get that shot just yet, but still, the damage has been done. Focus, Mixon, they're bailing.
Yeah, and they're only a duo. That's basically giving away your position for Alex and Resigns to make that decision. Do we fight it? Do we beat him on towards the mountain priority position? What's more important here? And I honestly like their decision to close out the day, play a little bit more aggressive, try to get more points, and already they get the knock onto Focus. Now they're in a 3v1 situation, and they're already spotting Mixon on the other side. He tries to go for the 1v1, the 50-50, and it's so quick. Alex, Resign, and Anand, they get their 4th elimination of the game.
And look, the leaderboard might be telling one story, but the real narrative is that Oshi's got some real fighting power with Alex Resigns and Anon. And it's unfortunate that they just haven't had anybody to really get their surge in, so it's just been so difficult for them to actually traverse every single one of their rotates, if they even make it off of their initial drop in the first place. But it's been a completely different story, as we all know, for Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstache. They have been titans of this lobby, and even with Merstache being knocked, no problem whatsoever, because they're not going to be keyed anytime soon. It's just not worth the effort from the team that they're trading blows with. They know it's way too dangerous to actually make that trek.
And it's almost kind of like
Team
having
got
me
the
ask
ball.
myself a question in my head for Vortex, Goofy, and Mountain. When do you stop targeting Queasy and his entire trio on the other side, because even though that's helping them get some Storm Surge, it's helping Queasy, Merstash, and Swizzy a lot more, and they're bringing it much further on into the game. In the feed, Arc taking down one of the members of OCE Power's team. Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold, because of their early aggression, they're able to get the Queen out of Dystopia City and immediately make their way on over towards that vault, where they're not only able to have that mythic AR, but they have the exotic as well.
And while we are seeing some mild forms of success currently for Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold, the big thing to keep in mind here, Jacob, is that for a lot of these international teams and just other teams in the lobby in general, it can be very difficult to really find an opening. And you know, you're talking about Goofy and Mountain and what they're capable of, and is this even worth taking the battle? But they're in a pick your poison situation. They're so far northwest, their only options are Muzz, Mr. Savage, or Queasy. And they just keep landing on Queasy every time, while King and Phaser try to recover this battle up against Chino, Pablo, and Prodoxy.
Ooh, almost landed that good shot, but King, honestly, watching him throughout the season, when it comes to this double pump, it packs so much of a punch. He has Prodoxy and Chino on the slivers of HP, but unfortunately, the bait and switch comes through yet again. Pablo, knowing his teammates are weak, takes charge, gets that elimination onto King, leaving Phaser by himself. But it's so early on in the game, Taco. Third zone, one tick. Even though he has only one med kit, I'm not too worried because they're going to have to rotate out of that position.
Look, we know that King is good at fighting, but in this lobby right now, Pablo has just been better with everyone that he stumbled across, and that kind of performance can carry them a long way. It's starting to feel a little reminiscent, Jacob, of that early performance that they had to start this day off. 85 points secured in one lobby. And who's to say that they couldn't do it again?
Yep, you can see Seti, Epco, and Panzer have taken the most storm damage of all teams. With the way some of these games have been going, not too surprised. Zone moving towards the north in a couple of games, all the way towards the west. They land at Kappa Kappa. They have a contested fight, and then so many other teams along the way, they almost have no other choice, especially since this has been a huge part of their strategy when it comes to these surge bases, and they have that abundance of extra HP, so it's no worries.
But the conversation that's been building between the Seti-Cammy breakup, and we're looking at both of these separate trios having so much consistent success that they are both within our top 5 here in day one. There's a real chance for Seti and Cammy to try and see, you know, who is really the problem. And right now, based off their performances, Jacob, I don't think either of them were. I think they were both just ready for a switch up.
I know when we talk about like some teams just forming, you know how they sometimes hit that honeymoon phase? What a perfect time for them to hit that phase and keep that consistency going. Coming together, qualifying in Major 3, and really taking that opportunity, just that chance to play at the Global Championship and running away with it. Same with Vanya, Marius, and Pixie. They get their drop spot uncontested. And honestly, whether it's contested or not, we saw Cold and his trio try to go ahead and make that their home, but that was quick work for them off that 50-50 drop off the side of the mountain. Where you're seeing a lot of our top teams here, how they're rotating with the zone pulling towards the south. A lot of them are beating other teams to the punch. They're not taking that crowded position in towards the zone.
But this is really nice for Clix, Higgs, and Iamsa as they continue to press forward because they're approaching that mountain range overhead of Foxy Floodgates. They're coming from that north side position, pushing south. They're going to have that little bit of elevation to work with, and we've even got a nice little listening to see what Clix is getting up to.
They're in streaming.
Yeah, look at them. Look at this.
3, 2, 1. 30. Nice.
Go. Let's go. Let's crash, please.
No. Before Grease then.
I like it. They got the damage. And Higgs, for a moment, was like, hey, let's go. Let's pick up the elimination. Let's go and go for more. But they realized they're at the top side of the leaderboard. They don't have to take any unnecessary risk to close out the day. This is game 6 out of 12. So we got 6 more games tomorrow. And so honestly, for a lot of these teams, you just want to get as close to Queasy, Merstash, and Swizzy as possible so we have a chance tomorrow.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstash, Jacob, because while they're here tackling Brazil, PH, Zen, Phaser already not. That's going to be the eliminations there. Excuse me, that's going to be King instead. But Jacob, so much damage having been done there. And Queasy now on the back foot. He's actually going to have to depend on Merstash and Swizzy to close this one out because Gino, Ferdoxy,
Those boys
Pablo,
ain't messing
they've now
around this
entered
time.
this battlefield, and Ferdoxy, he doesn't seem interested in leaving anytime soon.
This is a blessing. This is a blessing for the entirety of the lobby, not just for Doxy, Pablo, and Chino here in this situation. You take them down, and I like taking matters into your own hands because fourth place, first place, first place, first
Them
place.
boys came in on them and they were not messing around. Ferdoxy was like, yeah, we gonna get on you, boy.
Phaser might not even know that there's a whole trio up above, but he might not have the HP. Storm Sickness is a possibility. He might have no other choice but to move into this trio.
It's just witnessing what Ferdoxy, Pablo, and Chino are able to accomplish when they finally have an opportunity to make it off spawn, Jacob. They've had to deal with so much action throughout every single one of these lobbies here today, and yet they're still managing to manifest these opportunities for themselves.
You can see they're even so close.
Tell you
to
what, Queasy and them got really lucky that Merstash was able to get out of there.
All year long. And you can see the zone moving over towards Demon's Debris. Them and a bunch of other teams, they're kind of setting up. They're not necessarily going for high ground. They feel like they have enough surge to make that not necessarily a worry, but they're just trying to go over towards those mountains just in case we get one of those max pulls towards the west, which I do like thinking 2, 3, 4 steps ahead, even though it's relatively early. The fourth zone, you sometimes, with the way this finals has been going, you want to prioritize your rotation and your overall positioning.
But Pigstorm and Demas, they're just so central right now. They're not really feeling too much pressure to leave just yet, and they're also having to monitor Pixie, Vanya, Meridius directly next to them, so it's not like it'd be an easy rotation just yet either. But Mr. Savage, Reason, they're trying to see what they can do up against the likes of Disco and Kadu, but Striker might just be looking to try and hold him down, but Reason, nice chunk of HP there. He's gonna go missing from Kadu. Reason now on the ropes, so he's not gonna be able to break away. Mr. Savage trying to provide coverage fire, right side peek, a little bit in his favor, but Kadu still relatively healthy in comparison to Savage.
He does have 6 different crash pads. He does have the Flowberry Fizz.
Run, Savage, run.
Does he have the reboot cards, and does he have a chance to get them? For Tisco and Kadu, they're in a very, very similar spot, but not as drastic. Only Striker is down. So they are going to be a duo in this situation, not too far away from the overall zone. So they too, if they have that reboot card, they can immediately move on over towards Rangers Ruin to try to get that reboot back, and that's exactly what they want to do. Savage has no other choice but go the other direction towards Foxy Floodgates, which is good because now he has a chance for the reboot, but he's moving closer and closer to other teams while being almost 300 damage below the threshold.
But that's the problem. He's so low on his surge damage, and even with a successful reboot, hold that thought though, Pollo finally seeming to get a nice elimination here onto Kazi, and that kicking open the doorway. They need some kind of catalyst because they've had a very scrambly day so far.
Second time's the charm. Second time is the charm, but they're deep in the zone, not a lot of heals. Phaser and King are both relatively low. You gotta hope they have something, but they have nothing. Phaser's gonna be the first one to drop. PHN realize I cannot be the hero. I have to go. He has no heals either. Even though this is a one tick, he has about 50 seconds on the clock to either find elimination or find any sort of heals, bandages, anything.
Oh man, Merstash, does he realize what's behind him? But PHN, if he gets the jump onto Merstash, that could be very problematic still. Merstash at least has Swizzy and Queasy. And a good replenish, but Merstash knows it's cooked from this point. He can't press forward any longer. Maybe there's a reboot later.
Got the down onto Merstash. I don't even know how he was the last one to do damage. PHN did not know where Merstash was, and even if he did, he wouldn't have gotten the siphon, but he had heals. Merstash being down now leaves Queasy and Swizzy with a decision. Do we go back in the zone? Do we get our teammate back up because no man left behind, or do we continue on as a duo?
Right now,
they got to go back in. They got to go back in and get Merstash. After he just saved them, they got to go back for him. This is Globals, man. They're over 100 points in the lead. They got to go back for him.
Not a whole
whole lot of resources available for some of these teams, though, that are just hugging the outskirts right now. It's been so many hiccups across the way. But Clixie, Yamzo, and Higgs, they've still managed to find their footing on the side of the mountain face at Canyon Crossing.
Yeah, and now they're positioned right next to Kanata. That's the knock they got earlier, where they were able to kind of accumulate a good amount of surge. Now they look towards the bottom side of that mountain. Balor, Mansour, and Adapter are the ones that are taking a lot of that focus, and they're inching closer and closer to Gabzera, Scarpa, and Way as well. Kanata knows and sees all the same things along with Rapid and Bolts, if he is still there. And they're all kind of targeting off the side of the mountain, just trying to take advantage of every team that's a little bit too slow to rotate.
It's just so dangerous to go for some of these half-wall edits, the window edits. You peek too long, you might find yourself getting picked off along the way. But right now, Marius, Pixie, Vanya, all they're focusing on is how to find the best success in this last lobby. Doesn't matter how you start, what matters is how you finish, and that goes for day one here at the Global Championship.
That stat was crazy. Even though they're at the top of the leaderboard, they've taken more damage than they've dealt. But that just goes to show, like, how risky they're willing to play in order to get those eliminations, in order to be able to stay alive and build up that storm surge.
Oh, they didn't go back after him, bro.
Not sure if OCE is still alive, but NA West trying to bring themselves back into this. And just by the looks of it, Zone pulling so far away. Queasy, Swizzy, they realize there's no chance to get Merstache back into the game, so we have to make our numbers count.
But without Merstache, Queasy recognizes, hey, I'm gonna have to shift into gear and bring to light what kind of fragging capability I might actually be able to unleash, because some of these other teams that are just doing everything in their power to try and play catch up, you can never discredit what they might be able to accomplish. For
Got 9 likes on the stream so far. Thank you guys for being here. This is the final game of the FNCS, so sit back and enjoy it. Or FNCS Day 1, excuse me. We will be back tomorrow for Day 2.
Resources to actually bring their HP back up, but they're still just in such a tight position, and no one is even backing down. All day long, teams have been openly embracing the fight with Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual.
Yeah, drop spot aside, this is a game with the loot and the loadout that he has. You really have to make it count. Teddy Afko and Panzer, 678 above the damage threshold. They may not know Resigns is getting ticked by Storm Surge, but if they were close by, they could probably hear the shields crack as Victor V is
Looks
close
like
by
Polo
as well.
and crew has
Did see a
height.
couple of his teammates go down in the feed. I don't know if he's entirely a solo, but hey, it's Vic. Oh, well, no, that wasn't my fault, Taco. That wasn't my fault.
Okay, Ozzy.
That was Ozzy. He's doing a watch party upstairs. It's definitely Ozzy's fault.
Oh, yeah, but for Doxy, on the other end, he's actually got a glimpse of Queasy up in the skies. Queasy having been spotted out. He knows this is trouble. We've got to start maybe working our way down. This is not the spot to be, but Gino, Pablo, Prodoxy, they don't care. They're looking to fully collapse. They see that Queasy is weakened, and they've actually completely overthrown the ultimate high ground position. But the fact that Queasy and Swizzy are still alive, Jacob, it's still the potential for placement points to keep building.
Yeah, this is almost looking like a full circle moment, because remember, it was Prodoxy, Pablo, and Gino the one that even took down Merstache in the first place and put him in such a rough spot overall, and they really haven't been able to recover from it since. Take a look at some of the action going down around the lobby. Kanata just taking matters into his own hands. The first knock, that was easy. The second one somehow was easier, and now Kanata's looking to pressure that third elimination. And that's something big for them, because you can see he's all by himself, still taking pressure, still taking damage from all directions, and quickly running out of builds.
But if it resembles a shotgun, Kanata can still max it out, and that's all he's looking for. A couple of Flowberry Fizzes still left at his disposal. Seti, rather weakened, but his trio mates still way too healthy. Panzer and Yapko can just overtake that tarp responsibility here. Panzer now holding down the walls. Hoyo, Agers, Acorn directly underneath. The elevation shifts can be brutal, but for Gino, Pablo, and Prodoxy, all above it all, they have no issues whatsoever, which is suppressing these lower teams.
This is their time right here to move up that leaderboard and hopefully maybe even get into the top 5, especially being contested by not only Tayson, but as that fight ends, so many other teams moving over in that direction as well. Marius, Pixie, and Vanya, this is one of the teams that they have to potentially go through as well. As you're seeing, Vanya get another elimination onto Mountain. That's their second one overall. 254 above the damage threshold. They're not focusing on taking any fights that they don't have to. Yamzo, Clicks, they both fall. Storm Surge is a huge thing that's taken them all out as the full trio's back to the lobby. Now Acorn's pressuring in. Marius sees him coming from a mile away. He goes up and over, dunking on him yet again. Now it's him versus Pollo. Zone's gonna finish the job. Marius with back-to-back eliminations.
Marius did such an excellent job at just pushing them fully back. That is
Wow.
a huge come up here as Azers now forced to try and see if he can bring it together. But Marius, he's just not slowing down anytime soon. Just continuing to barrel his way forward inside of the mid-ground layers. Prodoxy, Pablo, Chino with height in their control. I just don't see a way for anybody else to actually jump up towards them anytime soon. And Chino just continues to spray all those teams making their way towards the front side of zone.
And they even reinforced it on their way on over, patiently waiting for the zone to pull. It's going to work out in their favor for the most part. And you see Pablo right now, he's the one building their top on over because he has the double pump. Letting his teammates put pressure down from above is a huge part of their game plan. As they're 257 above, Swizzy, he has taken down Peterbot, their third elimination of the game, and they're cruising inside of the top 12. This is what I'm talking about. You cannot expect this team to just go down without a fight.
It's the boost of materials that they have to work with too. Yapko recognizing directly overhead. He doesn't have an opportunity here. Wixie on the other end of his wall. Yapko gonna be forced to layer swap here. He is dropping to ultimate low, but he has hardly anything left to work with here, Jacob. Backside of zone. Anyone, it might just be Ping who comes up upon Yapko, but instead it's gonna be Marius, Pixie, Vanya now looking to play spoiler to these teams in the mid-ground. Marius just continued to tear away at everybody's HP.
Yeah, that double pump, and he's putting it to use. Storm is down in the outside of the zone. Marius is gonna clean that one up. Couple more points, push them further and further closer to Queasy, who's still alive, by the way. Yapko is solo. He's just trying to get the most out of this as possible. Only 5 on the med miss, no extra builds, scrambling around, trying to catch somebody off guard, but it's he who falls to Pixie.
Chino, Pablo, and Prodoxy still in the high ground. Swizzy and Queasy now working through ultimate low. This is a night and day difference for loadouts, but Swizzy still trying to bring it all together. He only has 5 builds, but he has to take a chance to heal, and Queasy picks it up where he left off. Eliminations onto Tisco now means that Queasy has some material to work with, and Marius, he's tarping his way through, but he might just run smack dab center into where Queasy is at, not to mention Proxy, Pablo, Chino overhead.
This is a good moment for all the players down low. They're distracted up above, but not too distracted. They drop down. Surprise attack coming from above. Down goes Queasy. Pixie's gonna follow as well. Vanya's now by himself. He gets taken down by Chino. Pablo, Tino, they're the only 2 alive for the team from high ground to low. They're trying to take the fight to Demus, and that one is gonna be solidified. And a much needed Siphon comes in just in time. A 2v1 situation, and it's Pix. He's so far out of zone, and the last medkit has already been used. A last desperation attempt to make his way into the zone, and it does not work. Prodoxy, Pablo, and Chino.
Prodoxy and him got
They
one.
knew that they were going to need an insane performance to close out the day. It's been a bit of a scuffle here, Jacob, but finding this victory
So
royale
that's
in the final
Kanata
hour
and
of
his
day
boys.
one, that could be the
And then
ultimate
Queasy and
difference
them
maker,
took
starting things off in
3.
day 2. First and foremost,
And
though, we
then
gotta see what
Prodoxy
they
on this
have
one.
to
Who
say.
got the last one?
Prodoxy, stand
Can't
up
remember.
for me,
Who
please.
took game 5?
Cast your minds back to game 1, where you were quite frankly destroyed off
Oh yeah, it was
by
Vino.
Jason.
Vino
But
and them
after
took game
that,
5.
You managed to
And
turn
then
it around. So many reboots, and
Prodoxy
finally
and hit game
the
6.
victory royale. How does that feel?
I mean, after 4-2 off spawn and getting third part of every game, it feels nice to finally get to play another game out.
And for you, in those final moments as well, is the communication in a busy venue like this on LAN coming naturally? What's it like?
I mean, it's a... repeat the question, please?
I'm just asking how the comms are going.
Yeah, we can't... Oh, I mean, yeah, the MA fans are nice to have here. It's a good... it's just good vibes, yeah.
Good vibes, good vibes. Choka.
Très bonne vibe, il vient de dire, vous mettez une très bonne ambiance, le public, merci beaucoup. I have a question for you.
Yeah?
Will you manage to have a lot of more victory royale? How will you do it?
Can you say it again?
how will you have more victory royal?
For us, it just depends all on the Ospawn. If we win Ospawn, we're gonna get a good game no matter what, basically.
S'ils gagnent tous ces contests, eh bien, ils vont tout gagner.
Gino, you've had some hero plays today. What is driving you and the team right now after some difficult starts?
I don't know, after this during EU of my trio, I just feel like we're the best trio here and nothing can stop us.
So tomorrow, more victory royales to prove your domination.
For sure, for sure.
Well, congratulations, guys. One more time, Leon, please. Pablo, Gino, and Fredoxy! Let's head back to the desk.
Dude, we gotta give him a hand, right? I mean, come on. The final game of the day to get a victory royale in that fashion. And guys, 19 eliminations? What is happening?
Oh, it's ridiculous. It really shouldn't be allowed. I mean, you look at these guys earlier on when they won their first game off Spawn, right? Obviously, Tayson came out, you know, off the blocks hot, but then those guys won game 2 and they were being so aggressive. Yeah. And I was like, okay, they're trying to make up for lost time here. I mean, this was another example of that. These guys have this ability. If you watch EU over the past 2 seasons, you'll know they have this ability. But again, to have the hubris to do this at the Global Championships, at the biggest event of the year, it just shows how confident they are in their ability.
So much confidence. They were the thorn in the side of so many teams inside of this lobby. And that's exactly how we expected them to play. I think they would have been a little bit disappointed as to how the Ospawn battles have been going, especially with the third parties coming in as well. Even when they're winning, there's teams coming in, making things really, really difficult for them. But this is the Fredoxy, Pablo, and Chino that we know. We know how great they can be in these final moments, and especially for Queasy's team, right? We saw how well they did, but Pablo, Chino, and Fredoxy, not only did they W-key them to eliminate Queasy initially, they also chopped them down from height, right? And made that crazy play to make that high ground take. And wow, this is exactly what we want to see in a perfect end to day number 1 for them.
You could almost see the frustration from them, right?
Yeah.
Like, they weren't even celebrating too tough because it was like they know, and Pablo alluded to it, like, if we weren't Con, we'd be having these kind of games all the time, right? We might be a whole different type of competition had that been the case. So, you know, big ups to these guys. Hope to see them sort of find some more momentum tomorrow.
That's right, that's right. So remember, this first 6 games is about setting the stage going into tomorrow's games. Guys, I want to go to the top. Queasy, Murstache, and Swizzy. I do not know how this continues to happen, right? But guys, it cannot continue to happen like this, can it?
It can.
It definitely can. I mean, looking at this, 521 points.
Wow, Pete isn't even in the top 10, but Polo is.
Victory Royale's incredible on the day. Huge amount of eliminations. What I love, their
Ganada's
ability to pick
in
up the
5th.
pieces, even when things don't go their way. We saw it in game
But
number
look at all
1.
those
They set up a
EU.
hype really nicely.
Oh
Everything was
my
looking
God,
good.
dude,
The zone
EU's
doesn't pull their
crushing
way.
it.
They said it in the interview afterwards. We got unlucky there. We'll look out for us in the next games. And what did they then go on and do? Unbelievable stuff. In that game, we saw it, of course, very, very split. Queasy going down. Then they had to try and find that reboot. And then, of course, we saw Moustache going down in the Storm. The fact that Queasy and Swizzy were able to do so well in that game just shows they have everything that it takes to go all the way.
To me, that's actually the most important game. That's the game that if they go on to win the Global Championship, now you look back at that game and you say, this was it, right?
Yeah.
Because truly, a lot of people will look at a lot of their performance today and go, Levin, their game plan is so straightforward, right? You know, they're sitting up in that base at the hive. It's so easy for them. A lot of other teams can't do that, right? But they have a game like that one where the game plan gets interrupted. They can't do what they've been doing the previous 5 games, and they still find a way to deliver. Again, the makings of, you know, just an absolute goated team.
It sends a message, right, to the rest of the lobby. No matter what's going to happen, even if we get into fights, they have the ability to sort of disengage, dip from the fight, find reboots, have that gameplay IQ that we know that this team can do. But now, going into day number 2, if a team's a little bit lower down, this drop spot that they have at the Hive, right? They have the Queen there. They have all of that great loot. We've seen it be so successful for them. Will they get landed on? I'm not too sure, but that could be a problem.
And Levin, how many points back in last Globals? How many points did Peterbot Pollo go into day number 2 with?
Last year, after day 1, we were all sitting here going, wow, Peterbot Pollo, man, these guys are going to go on to win the whole thing. They had about 440 points, right? These guys have 500 plus. These guys are rolling right now. I mean, 3 victory royales back to back to back. This is something we will talk about forever in Fortnite history in the context of one, they still have another day to just keep adding to that total, right? You know, like they can still get more and more wins, but the 3 games in a row, you know, it's just mental to me.
I mean, guys, we've got to hear from Queasy himself. Frankie is standing by right now to get his thoughts after the first 6 games.
The king of the high ground has joined me and Choka back
That's
in
right,
the
Marcel.
player lounge.
Everything can change.
Queasy, last year it was day 2 where you had to make up the shortfall, but on day 1 you're sitting clear at the top of the leaderboard by 101 points. The question is, can you keep this up?
I hope so. I mean, I think we're gonna change a lot of stuff for day 2. Make sure our plans are perfect for like any sneak attempts and stuff like that. And we'll see tomorrow.
So the changes is not because the current game plan isn't working, it's because of the fact that now you know that there's a target on your back.
Yeah, I think so. But like, I mean, I feel like we're so far ahead that if people are like actually trying to land on us and do stuff like that, they're just like griefing themselves more than us. Because I don't know.
Well, we haven't seen you contested yet.
Yeah, we haven't.
We will see.
We've seen the Major 2 and Major 3.
We have, but not on LAN. Choka à toi.
And so you'll change maybe few things, but are you confident for tomorrow that you'll keep your consistency during the games?
If we play our early and mid game the same, yeah, easily.
All right, so for you, confidence is a key, or it's more training?
I mean, it's all practice. Practice makes perfect.
Looking at the lobby so far, who do you think is potentially going to be a threat, and who do you think could try and sneak attack you tomorrow?
I don't know, half the lobby, but we'll see, I guess. I don't know. I guess going into it, I thought it was Vanya, but they're kind of like staying on low ground, so I think we're fine.
Yeah, last year they were all about the high ground, but now they'll take what they can get, and they are coming up behind you, so we'll see tomorrow. Queasy, congratulations. Let's head back to the desk to close out day 1.
You know, one of my favorite things about Queasy is the fact that, like, even when you show up on the biggest stage that there is and you win 3 games back to back, you're still ice cold. You know, you're still just calm, cool, and collected. I feel like if that's me and I just put on that performance, I'm geeking, right? I'm freaking out. I'm excited. I'm trying to keep the emotions back, but I can't. But Queasy's like, hey, look, there's still 6 games tomorrow to go, Zeke. If I want to win this thing, I got to stay locked in.
First things first, you'll find any reason to geek out, Zeke. We know that. But most importantly,
Still over 100 points ahead.
don't finish. I don't think so. He knows that. Queasy knows that better. Queasy knows that better than anyone, right? He's had to go to the
Pete
last
ain't even
game
in the
of
top
Global
20,
Championships
bro.
multiple times, so he will be locked and loaded. I like Frankie's line of questioning though, because this is something we have to start talking about now.
Yeah.
These guys keep on leading the way.
Everybody was talking all that crap, saying Pete was going to take it since he took.
To decide, hey man,
you know,
gotta try catch up to
the
first
regular
place somehow.
FNCS
Let's just land on
championship.
them.
They said that.
I don't want to speak into existence, but it's always a possibility.
No, you can.
I told him to watch out for Kanata and also to watch out for Queasy and Mustache.
Every single
I
possibility
did.
in that current off-spawn situation. So I don't think that'll bring them nerves at all. I think, you know, Queasy spoke really well in that interview right there, and you need that from your IGL. I know you're saying like, oh, I'd be going crazy, right? But you know, you need that sort of calm force in the team, that calming nature that Queasy have is going to be so crucial. And like you said, it's all about that experience that he's had, maybe not doing so good, and maybe getting ahead of himself after day number 1. That's now forming this sort of personality, if you like, after this.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, ultimately we might be looking at our next global champions, and I'm okay. Queasy, you can continue to be like that. Be ice cold. Maybe we can finally get EU a title. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm Team EU by the way now. I've jumped ship. I'm on their
They're not
side.
letting you on the ship no more, man. The ship sailed. The ship is long gone.
Man board, and it's Zeke quite quickly.
Well, Fortnite fam, that wraps up day number 1 on the Fortnite Global Championships. Tomorrow we return with 6 more games. After those 6 games, we will know who will walk away as global champions. Tomorrow we'll be back. We'll set the stage. We'll get some more games.
I like that hoodie he's
We'll wrap
got.
up with some incredible Fortnite action. With that being said, as always, until tomorrow, we love you.
Zeke's
Keep
hoodie.
yourself safe.
The black hoodie he's wearing, the Fortnite hoodie. I like that one. Alright guys, it also looks like it's the end of the championships here. Day 1 anyway. It's the end of day 1. We will be back tomorrow, as you guys know, for the Fortnite day 2, the championship for day 2 tomorrow. I got stuff going on around me. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. But yeah, we're going to be doing day 2 tomorrow. Whenever the games start up, I'm not going to stream through all the hype beforehand. But whenever game 1 starts, I'll start the stream. So guys, keep your noties on and be looking for that stream to start at any time after 10 a.m. Okay? Just be knowing, I'm not going to do all the hype up stuff, but I will be streaming the actual games. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and I hope everybody has a good night. And thank everybody for coming in. Thank Ryder for gifting out the membership earlier. You're a true legend. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. We're getting 9 likes on this stream. You guys are amazing. So I guess until tomorrow, guys, Boots is out. Bye-bye, guys.